And the way that they've came back, they had the injuries early that looked like they were going to derail us during the season, but we just found a way to keep performing. And then, you know, even last week's performance, 2 weeks ago's performance, you know, we were down and out. It looked like it was that sort of turn off your TV moment, and all of a sudden, you know, we put on 3 tries in the matter of no time and got ourselves back in the contest with a Ben Hunt drop goal to seal the deal. It was just an amazing experience, and yeah, I can't wait for tonight.
Marnus, I appreciate you joining ABC Sport, and best of luck for the summer. Let's hope it's great Ashes for Australia.
Thank you very much.
Marnus,
great work, Gibbsy, and great to hear from Marnus downstairs. Getting ever closer to kick-off here. If you are just tuning in, no changes to the selected teams. Jesse Arthur's the replacement player for the Broncos, and Dane Laurie, the replacement player for Penrith. But as ever, as we get closer to kick-off on Sunday afternoon, it means it's time for Dennis Carnahan's Song of the Week.
On ABC Sport, let's hear our man of sound, Dennis Carnahan's Song of the Week.
Thanks for the memories you've given us. The minor premiership was sublime, but in the pain of the game at the end of the season, we endured full-time 3 times. You won twice, third full-time they did, but you had one more chance, but you lost twice. Poor Canberra Raiders, you lost your last 2. You lost your last 2. From baseball bats in Vegas to the maturing of stranger, that Munchie wind sure was full send. You finished top of the ladder, full of hope you'd go further, but the Broncos ruined the end. 'Cause you won twice, third full-time they did, still you had one more chance, but you lost twice. Poor Canberra Raiders, you lost your last 2. You lost your last 2.
That's as heartfelt as it gets from our Raiders man, Dennis Carnahan. Dennis's Song of the Week. Oh, I'm sure Canberra fans, you're feeling for him. Let's get back down to Gibbsy. Cavalcade of stars. No one wants to be anywhere else today, Gibbsy.
No, well, Marnus Labuschagne was one of the star supporters of the Brisbane Broncos. Well, we've got one of the best and most famous supporters of the Panthers, former world surfing champion, Mick Fanning. G'day, Mick.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Well, exciting time, my man. I know you spend a lot of time up this way nowadays, but you've always been a Penrith supporter.
Yeah. It started back in the early 90s, you know, when Canberra were playing against Penrith in the GFs, and just stayed loyal ever since.
Mick, a lot of people ask, how do you become a world surfing champion and so proficient at what you did, living in Penrith, I suppose travelling to the coast?
We moved. Yeah, I moved when I was fairly young. I moved Coffs Harbour, but then moved back down to Campbelltown, and then lived Ballina before moving to Gold Coast just before high school.
Okay, favourite players? Can you single out anyone?
Oh, mate, right now, you can't go past Nathan and Yowie, such legend. But the whole team is so incredible. Over the course of, footy, Andrew Johns has always been a favourite of mine too.
Another man surfer.
I know, it's mad human all right. But yeah, no, it's so many great talents in rugby league. It's awesome.
Now, talking about great talents, with Molly Picklum doing great things on the world circuit and some good young men as well. Things are looking good in surfing for Australia.
Yeah, for sure. Molly coming through and winning a world title this year. She's a phenomenal talent, and we've seen it since she was, a young teenager, and now she's just proved to the world how good she is. So yeah, extremely proud of Molly. And yeah, we got some young guys coming through too. That we just had Dane Henry win the World ISA Games. So yeah, some great kids coming through.
Well, we can hear that atmosphere in the background. Are you going to make it to the grand final if the Panthers make it?
Mate, we're going to get through this game, and then yeah, I'll be at the GF if we're there.
Big Fanny, good luck. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome, thank you.
Good on you, Gibbsy. So you've got all of these big name supporters turning up. It is the second last game of the season, Luke. The only reason it doesn't feel like it's the last game of the season is because we're not at Stadium Australia. This is a huge build-up, and most of the fans are inside the house now. The cauldron is going to be bubbling this afternoon.
Oh, it is. You can look. I'm just trying to explain this crowd. It is dead set. Absolutely, you can hardly see an empty seat. Obviously, there's still people trying to find their seats at the moment, but it looks absolutely phenomenal out there. It's been amazing out the back. You've got all these famous people here at the moment. Mick Fanning, absolute legend. It's going to be an awesome. I just wanted to run out because I'm starting to get a little bit like jittery myself. Like this time of year, you get a little bit of jitters, and you're super excited. You've still got one of your sides in the competition that you absolutely love, and they're going for 5 straight opportunities to win a grand final. But they've got a big game here. And you know what I love about it? All the Penrith players didn't talk about it. They've got to get through this game. You heard Mick say the same thing. Let's worry about this game first, and it's going to be very exciting to see what happens here.
And of course, the first of those grand finals was a beaten cause back in 2020 at Stadium Australia against the Storm. But then the first of the run of premierships was here, and the man that's playing halfback today played in the opposition team today as well. Played halfback for South Sydney that day, Adam Reynolds. So back in 2021, Lane Park was the scene for that grand final that year due to the COVID restrictions in Sydney, and that's where it all started for Penrith, who are going to be playing in their pink strip today. Dylan Edwards will play at fullback. Paul Alamotti and Brian To'o play on the wings. Isaac Tongor and Casey McLean play in the centres. Blaze Talangi is at 5'8" with Nathan Cleary, the halfback and captain. The front row is Moses Leota and Lindsay Smith. Mitch Kenny is back in the number 9 jersey, starting at hooker. He did that last week, but in a different jersey number. So number 9 for Mitch Kenny back in that role today. Scott Sorensen and Liam Martin in the second row. Isaiah Yeo is the lock forward. And the bench for Penrith is Brad Schneider, Liam Henry, Isaiah Papali'i and Luke Garner.
What about how good it is for Madge Maguire? He got New Zealand to a final. I think he went over and done State of Origin, got State of Origin trophy back to New South Wales. He gets his first opportunity to come back to club coach, and here he is now in a prelim final. It's quite a mind-blowing experience there for Madge as well, and especially for such a great club in the Brisbane Broncos.
And the pressure that is on. I mean, we were looking back earlier in the season. They had that loss to Manly at Brookvale, and there were howls for the fact that they weren't playing well. He'd lost the playing group already, and that very powerful old boys group, which has got a very strong voice, they were trying to stick up for Kevy Walters because they weren't happy with the way that the club got rid of him. So they were putting the pressure on Madge, and here's this group, the Broncos, that are within one win of making their second grand final in 3 years. But by the way, there haven't been that many preliminary finals at this venue, but the 2 that have been played here that have featured Brisbane, they won both of them against the Warriors a couple of years ago, which was a Saturday evening game, and then a famous Friday night win over the Roosters where there was a Darius Boyd intercept early in that 2015 preliminary final en route to going down to the North Queensland Cowboys. And of course, Penrith 14 finals wins in a row. They just keep fronting up and resetting records. Now here's the cauldron about to hoot. Nathan Cleary leads the Panthers into action. The great modern dynasty once again goes on the line on this Sunday afternoon. Liam Martin not far behind him, and Isaiah Yeo, these names, these absolute champions of rugby league that have got to front up and get the job done again today to try and get to the last game of the season. And nothing replicates Origin, but if you want something close, have a listen to this. Leads the Broncos onto Lang Park for a preliminary final against Penrith. Gibbsy, it doesn't get any bigger.
This is unbelievable. This is state of origin-ish. It is amazing capacity crowd. The flags are waving. What was interesting before the game, Q, is the fact that the Brisbane Broncos came out. They were warming up 10 minutes earlier than the Panthers, and the reason for the pink strip, obviously the contrast with the dark strip with the Brisbane Broncos. So they'll wear the pink strip today and no doubt go back to the Las Vegas black and gold strip next week.
Should they earn the right to play? Indeed. The Broncos are going to kick off and the Panthers will run towards the Caxton Street end, towards the northern end, the left of your radio dial as we look at it here from the western stand. 2 games left in the season. The Storm await. Will it be Penrith to play Melbourne again, or can the Broncos get back to grand final day? 80 minutes away from the answer. Kickoff is taken by Talangi of the Panthers right on the goal line, and the first carry from Lindsay Smith is up to the 10-metre line. He's taken down at that southern end, and Moses Leota with the next carry met solidly by Haas and Smoothie, and the Brisbane fans like that as he's pushed back a metre or two. Will play the ball only 11 from his own line. Kenny gives it one man to the right to Liam Martin. The man adjudged best of field in the grand final last year. He's only 15 from his own line. Good set in defence from the Broncos as Yeo was hit solidly there, and they're only up to the 20 or just beyond. Smoothie with the tackle. Play to Kenny, give it on to Edwards, and Edwards has a one-out run down the middle third, runs into Ricky and others, and referee Grant Atkins says that's 5, and the Panthers only got to the 30. So Cleary kicks for distance at the end of the set. It bounces and rolls past Reece Walsh a little. Walsh now, the Brisbane fullback, tracks back to his 10 to gather, runs up to the 20-metre line where he's met by Smith and Sorensen and Talangi, and they push him back 6 or 7 metres. Brisbane start this set 15 from their own line. Staggs out a dummy half, went blindside, but no way through there. Sorensen there, first grapple to put him down. Bronx played on the 20. Reynolds in at dummy half, feeds it infield to the run of Mariner, and Dean Mariner midway goal line and halfway. Plays the ball on to Pakes, given to Walsh as a run into Talangi, crashes to Decker, does him from halfway, and there's a Panther down and hurt. Sorensen is dazed in back play. Meanwhile, Brisbane get to halfway and beyond on the next carry. Ball to be played at the end of the set by Karapani. 45 from from Penrith's line, and they've stopped play. John Gibbs on the touchline.
Yeah, well, it was Reece Walsh who burst through a gap. He's hit his head and he's also bumped his knee. So Scott Sorensen a little bit dazed. He might be grabbing the knee because he knows what might come after this. He might have to leave the field, but he's flexing his leg, but he was hit in the head as well by a strong run from Reece Walsh.
And get ready for those stories about mandatory stand-downs for concussion just before a grand final, Louis.
Yeah, that was Blaze Talangi's top of his head. It's the bottom of the jaw of Scott Sorensen, so it's a fair bit of experience leaving the field at the moment. But you've got to love what the Brisbane Broncos did. They had an opportunity there to continue the attack, but they all stopped. Pate stopped and told the referee, so here they go now on last play.
Sorensen off for head injury assessment. News when it comes to hand. Walsh from halfway, bombs downfield at the end of the set. Caught by Edwards, driven into the neck by the tackle of Piakura. And the Panthers will start this at a dozen from their own line. Good catch from Dylan Edwards, an early tester for the man who was best of field in the grand final back in 2022. Here's Alamotti on a run. No great gain down the middle third. Tungor has a go just beyond the 20 for the Panthers in pink today. No score early on at Lang Park. Kenny had a dummy half, has a run. It's a good run too. Pitches 10 metres to his feet quickly to play it to Edwards. 15 from halfway. Give it to Moses. Leota to Deck right in the middle of the cauldron. Last play of the set. Kenny passes right for Cleary from half. halfway. Cleary with a high bomb to the defensive left corner for the Broncos. And it's well caught by Karapani. 15 from his own line. Ben Hunt's there at dummy half. Gives it on to Shibasaki running infield. He's got no way through. Fans are up in arms about something. Oh, it generally doesn't take them long to get grumpy about something here, Louis, as Mariners tackle on the 20. No score through 3 minutes. It's finals footy on ABC Sport as Stags goes one man to the right. 15 in from the western side and 25 metres from halfway as he takes the tackle. Now infield runs Haas. Haas is tackled. He's on the 30. That's the end of the set. Last play. Pakes passes to Walsh. Walsh from the 30 has to kick downfield. Alamotti's well placed. Catches it defensive right corner. 20 from his own line. Kick return to the 30, but he offloads to Tungor. Tungor to the 40 before being stopped. News from the touchline. John Gibbs.
Yeah, he's out of the game. Scott Sorensen, big news. He's played 16 finals. He's played 12 with Penrith and he's won all of them. He's out. Category 1, head injury assessment. Gone, and the grand final gone as well.
Won't be playing next Sunday either, Gibbsy. Right on it. Big news in the opening phases of this game. Scott Sorensen out of the game and out of next week should the Panthers get there. Lindsay Smith's got it for Penrith. He's 40 metres from Brisbane's line when tackled midfield. Kenny to the right gives it to Cleary. Decides to have a run, but he runs into the defence. Ricky's there to make the tackle in company with Smoothie. Haas comes in to help finish it off. Penrith 32 out in centre field as Kenny passes left for Talangi. Blaze Talangi with the bomb at the end of the set. It's quite deep and no real challenger to the catch for Mariner. Takes it without pressure and he diffuses the bomb. Broncos start this set 5 from their own line. No score through 4 minutes.
I'll tell you what I'm loving at the moment. Both sides have really put a lot of emphasis in their defence, and I tell you, they're hardly making any metres, the Panthers and the Broncos. So really good mind set there from both sides.
Ben Hunt with a little dummy and scoop just beyond the 20 before Martin tackles him. Walsh at dummy half, palms away from Marker Martin before being taken by Kenny. 10 from halfway, quick play the ball. Takes to the right, gives to Reynolds. Passes on to Staggs. To'o comes in to cut his legs off. Great tackle near the NRL logo on halfway western side. End of the set. Reynolds puts the bomb downfield. Alamotti's to catch, and he does so pretty comfortably. 10 from his own line and runs up to the 20 where he's met by a couple of defenders and puts the deck. So repeating, Scott Sorensen out of the game with a Category 1 concussion, and it means on the mandatory stand-down protocols will not be able to play in next Sunday's grand final if Penrith win the right to play in that game. Casey McLean with a run to within 10 of halfway for the Panthers. Plays the ball to Kenny. To right, given on to Edwards. He's taken down by Ricky, and Penrith will play it a couple of metres inside their own half. Kenny passes right for Cleary. Has a little bit of a stepping run, taken by Haas. Got an offload away though to Kenny. Second phase Panthers. Popped it up to Yo. Yo straightens and gets stopped. 38 metres out, last play Penrith. Kenny to the right, gives it on to Cleary. Cleary bombs once again for Karapani's corner. He leaps and catches comfortably. He's put down 7 metres from his own line.
Well, both sides are just getting through the sets exactly like each other, and they're finishing the sets off nicely with a kick and backed up by their kick chase. But I feel like the Brisbane Broncos are dominating the middle of the field at the moment.
Absolutely perfect conditions for finals footy on ABC Sport. Quentin Hull, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs with you. Meanwhile, that New South Wales Cup Grand Final, the Warriors are in front now. Warriors 16 leading the Dragons 6. The winner will play Burleigh in the state championship game next Sunday. Ricky plays the ball just beyond the 20 as the Broncos work upfield. Tyson Smoothie's got the number 13 jumper on due to the suspension of Pat Carrigan. He's tackled here on the Brisbane 30. End of the set, and Walsh with his left boot kicks downfield. Bit of a tumbler. Pitches on the 25 from the line. Bounces back into the hands of Staggs. He chucks a pass to the wing. Took a touch of McLean, but into the hands of Mariner. Mariner's corralled in the corner, and now To'o makes the tackle. But that was a mishit kick which became misfortune for Penrith because it bounced back into the Broncos. They're on the attack, 25 metres out. Haas with a settler. He taken to ground, 19 metres from Penrith's line. Pates looks blindside right, passes infield to the left. Smoothie through Hunt to Walsh on the edge. Cut out to the wing, onto Karapani who comes infield, but Tungor's there to make the tackle. And Karapani will play it for Brisbane. Hart on the left and 8 metres out. Shibasaki passes infield for Walsh. Given on to Hunt in the middle of the park. Pops it up for the straightener from Jensen. Taken a dozen metres out. No score through 7.5 minutes. Brisbane to the left. Pakes. Walsh. Flat ball. Shibasaki. Great tackle. Tungor. Forward pass. Forward pass is the call from referee Atkins. So Penrith survived the first real inquisition from the hosts, and the Panthers will get the ball off the forward pass from...
The knock on.
Did they call the knock on in the end?
Yeah, a bit of a fumble just into the play there. But nice attack from the Brisbane Broncos, looking sharp on that left edge. But if it was me, I'd be coming back and testing the waters of Katoni Staggs and Blaze Talangi and McLean over here on this left edge.
8 minutes played, no score. John Gibbs on the touchline.
I'll tell you what is interesting. Normally, right edge Ricky and left edge Mercura, that changed, they've swapped. So that's interesting in itself. Maybe trying to isolate the youngsters, Blaze Talangi and Casey McLean.
Lindsay Smith tackled for Penrith. 15 from the southern in goal area that they're defending in this first half. Now Henry's out there. Early stint for him with, of course, Sorensen off the ground. And I mean, that's Garner, my apologies. Luke Garner tackled there. And the referee's coming in here.
Well, Luke Garner's carrying on a bit, pushing Adam Reynolds. Adam Reynolds was checking him. There might have been a bit of a crasher or something like that, but don't know what he's going on about. Here's the replay now.
Yeah, just
that's fine.
Just saw it, just an aggressive tackle from Adam Reynolds, and well, it's given everyone 30 seconds of oxygen that they might not have had. Penrith play at 25 from their own line. Infield runs Edwards. His play's restarted. High tackle here. Penalty goes to Penrith. Wasn't worth going on report, but this gives Penrith a free trip to the attacking end. Corey Jensen, the offender, as Cleary kicks for and finds touch 40 metres from the Broncos line.
Well, this is Panthers' best set in this end of the field so far in this opening, 10 minutes. And let's see if they can get their attack on. Remember last week, they were absolutely brilliant on the edges. Their centres with their little tip-on passes to the wingers was perfect.
McLean up to the 30 on the first carry. Smith one out, second carry, gets to within 22 of the line. So the Panthers setting up for an attacking raid here. No score at the quarter as yet. Cleary shows and gives to the right for Edwards. Great defensive read, Shibasaki in his face to make a one-on-one front-on tackle. And Edwards will play it 20 metres out right edge. Blindside Kenny gives it on to Cleary. Pops it up for Martin. Martin's taken down low by Hunt and up top by Shigasaki. Panthers play it 10 out on the right. Back to left and centre field. Cleary to Leota through the hands to Yo. Gives it to Talangi. A dummy and straighten from Talangi. Nice tackle from Staggs to stop him. 10 to the left of the uprights. 5 out. Blindside left. Cleary runs it. The pass is knocked down. Back into the hands of the skipper. He's tackled. 6 more. 6 more for Penrith. There was a semi-intercept there which ricocheted back into the Penrith skipper's hands, and now the Panthers can go on the attack again. As here's a run from Lindsay Smith. He's standing 5 metres out, centre of the park. Kenny shows it and pops it up for the crash line, and Leota can't get through. Moses Leota to play it 3 metres out. Kenny off to the right for Yo. To Cleary. Passes to the infield run of Martin. It's a little lateral across the 10. Liam Martin buffets off Reynolds. Gets an offload away to Smith, who's flat-footed. He tries to palm away from Paix, but Paix is there to make the tackle with some help from Smoothie and also Piakura. Ball played to Kenny. Goes to the blindside right. Quick hands. Edwards, Tungle. Lightning hands to Alamotti. Brilliant finish in the right corner. Diving for the one-handed right-hand plant next to the corner post. What a final series he's had so far, Paul Alamotti. And Penrith score first after 11 minutes. 4-0 Panthers, kick to come.
Yeah, well, on the other side, Adam Reynolds knocks the ball down. He had to, because I reckon McLean would have went over untouched. There was a try saver there. But again, just a tip on. Alamotti scored 3 last week. He's got the first this afternoon. And it's just that quick little hands there from Tungle. Gets it to Alamotti. He carries it in that right hand. He sort of holds it up like he's holding a basketball. And then he drives out, gives him enough time to reach and manoeuvre his body around that touchline. Scores a great try to get the Panthers on the board early.
Johnny Gibbs touchline.
Well, they were stretched to the absolute limit there. They had the pressure on Brisbane, but they were able to withstand that pressure, soak it up Penrith, and that's what they do so well. They went to the left side, back to that northeastern corner, and Alamotti, he's a fantastic player. 5 tries his last 7 finals. He's a good player. Back in the side, we know what happened with Thomas Jenkins. He was going well, but Paul Alamotti has made his spot his own again.
And just watching this replay here, I'd like to see the put down one more time. I thought I'd seen a little bit of movement. Oh no, that's all right on that one.
Just
He
so
knows.
confident, immediately put it in that one hand, the right hand. Carapani tried to push him.
Oh, I reckon he dropped it.
Oh, you're right, Louis.
I reckon he dropped it. That last view showed before, but in that view there, it looks like there's separation.
Well, Nathan Cleary's going to line up this conversion attempt. Referee Atkins is letting this go. Chris Butler's in the bunker, and the fans at Lang Park have seen that replay, Louis. They're not happy. Controversy early at the Cauldron as Cleary converts from the sideline. Penrith 6, Brisbane 0, and now everyone in the ground, Gibbsy, wants another replay.
Yeah, I suppose if you slow it down, you're always going to get a mistake like that or get some separation. It obviously looked okay, and Chris Butler, no one really had a murmur until that last replay. He likes it. I don't think there's a problem with it. I think you slow it down to such an extent. And by the way, those 7 in 5 games, I had it the wrong way round. But I think Alamotti has got that down. And he gave the salute straight away. His body language would suggest that he has scored.
Penrith 6, Brisbane 0. Reece Walsh with the restart for Brisbane. Kicks it to the goal line. Talangi catches and gives it off to Lindsay Smith, who has taken only 10 metres out. Quentin Hull, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs with you for Finals Footy on ABC Sport. If you have just tuned in, early drama as well with Scott Sorensen, ruled out of the game with a Category 1 head injury assessment. So not only out of this game, but also the grand final should the Panthers qualify. Yo runs down the middle third, just short of the 30 as he plays at the Penrith Veterans. Kenny gives it off to Martin. Martin, give him a dozen down the right side. And, or maybe a metre or two more before he's slammed into the deck by Paige, 8 metres from halfway. Kenny passes infield to Edwards. Edwards almost to where the old man, the sand would be, right in the middle of the park. Centre third and halfway. Now to the left, Talangi gives it through the hands. McLean to Toto, over the 40, comes to his man in front of him, chip over the top from Mariner. 3 gathered by McLean, but tackled by Staggs and loses the ball. Nice movement from the Panthers to the left, but as soon as McLean got it, he was swamped.
Yeah, it was a nice little kick. Beautiful little bit of passing that right edge. Gets that bounce. And McLean just catches and passes straight to his right. He had Luke Garner there just pushing up. That's probably try there for the Panthers, but great scramble from the Broncos.
Yeah, he was sort of,
Bang there, pass it all.
yeah, he got smashed by Staggs and Walsh as soon as he got the ball. 6-0 to Penrith. Brisbane with it. 12 from the Caxton Street end. As Smoothie has a run into the defence. See, there's a size difference between he and the other number 13. Tyson Smoothie and Isaiah Yo played on the 20. Now Shibasaki, left edge. Crowd thought there was a bit of a high arm from Cleary in that tackle. Ref Atkins thinks otherwise. And already the hordes at the Cauldron are on the referee's back here as Jensen gets to the 30 for Brisbane. Played to Pace, given left for Hunt. Little pump and give. And Viacura loses his footing. Gets stopped 5 from halfway. End of the set. Hunt out a dummy half, decides to kick downfield. It's a rolling ball which is trapped at the feet of To'o, 25 from his own line, and Brian To'o's kick return gains 10. Penrith to start this set 15 inside their own half. 14 minutes played, Penrith 6, Brisbane 0.
Well, is it funny, just that one little try, the Panthers are slowly starting to win the field position battle once again. They're defending well, and it already looks like Brisbane are a little bit nervous, coming out of their own end, so they can't think about the scoreboard at the moment. They've just got to play their football.
Garner to halfway, Alamotti another 15 metres down the middle, good run. Penrith 35 from Brisbane's line on the attack. Kenny passes left for Cleary, given to Smith, then on to Garner. Garner's met those solidly by the tackle of Staggs down low. Reynolds helping up top along with Smoothie. Panthers 15 in from touch on the left, 25 out, end of the set. Cleary puts up a bomb to the attacking right side. It's defensive left for Brisbane and caught by Carapani out there. Josiah Carapani's had a bit of an inquisition early out there. He's been up to it so far. Blindside Shibasaki gains 10. Crowd thought that the Panthers were offside. Again, they're on ref Atkins' back. He doesn't say anything. Carapani trips as he runs the ball up to the 30. Penrith lead 6-0. Now down the middle third. Mariner comes in for a run. He stopped a dozen from halfway. He's flopping around Mick Hancock style and finally wins the public vote along with the vote of the referee to get a penalty for an extra grab in the ruck.
I was waiting for that crowd to go absolutely nuts then, and they did. As soon as they got that penalty, they all stood up. They were giving hand signals. I don't know what sort of signals they were giving, but it was pretty crazy.
Oh, Gibbsy.
Well, he finds touch just over my head here, up towards halfway, 10 metres short. but that's been a really good passage of play there for Penrith. There's no doubt about that. Reece Walsh was calling for the ball out wide. He's come up with a couple of runs in close, but hasn't been able to get the ball out wide as yet.
We've got a blood bin here, that's why we've got a stoppage.
Lindsay Smith.
Isaiah Yeo.
Oh, he's got a nasty cut above his right eye. There's Isaiah Yeo.
A little bit of Vaso on it.
Tape. All that's happening is Isaiah Yeo is getting taped up, and there's a close-up of him on the big screen, but that's just enough for the fans here to give it to him. Unbelievable feeling in the Cauldron today. Finals footy on ABC Sport. Winner goes to the grand final to play Melbourne. Loser is done for 2025, and it's a dynasty. It's a legacy on the line for Penrith today as Reynolds goes left, passes to Hunt, giving a Walsh to the 30, gives it to the edge. Karapani's got defence in front of him. Alamotti and Cleary hold him up and drag him over the touchline. Brilliant Penrith defence. Just brilliant from the Panthers. Karapani could not get his body weight to deck, so the Panthers kept the tackle alive and dragged him over the eastern touchline.
Yeah, attack them with their defence, get 4 Panthers v1, they drive him out, and I tell you what, if they made a break, it would have been called back as a massive, what do you call it, block? What do they call it? Obstruction, that's the word I was looking for. So it was not working very well there for the Brisbane Broncos. Reece Walsh, he's not getting any ball at the moment. And again, this is the little part I was a bit worried about with Billy Walters left, so they've got to get him the ball.
McLean's got it for Penrith. 15 in from touch on the western side. He's dozen from halfway when stopped. Early try to Paul Alamotti. Nathan Cleary converted. 6-0 Penrith. 23 minutes left in the first half. Packed house. Warm Sunday afternoon conditions for the penultimate game of the season. Garnered it within 5 of halfway. Now to the right through the hands. Yeo to Cleary onto Edwards. Gives it to Tungor. He's got defence in front of him. Pushes away from Shibasaki, but Hunt grabs his foot and stops Tungor in his tracks. Ball played out in the right. 45 from Brisbane's lines. Through the hands back to centre field. Yeo to Talangi, who has a bit of a straightening run, but he's tackled there by Ricky and also Reynolds. Last play for Penrith. 40 from Brisbane's line. It's a kick from Cleary. One of those in-between bombs. It'll come down about 20 metres out. Neither Mariner or McLean could catch it, and ricochets to the deck and jumped on by Walsh, who has another little bit of a flop there trying to get up to play the ball. Oh, he knows he's playing to a very friendly crowd here today, Reece Walsh. They roared again, but referee Atkins didn't buy it. Broncos have got it. Left side shift. No way through for Karapani. 23 from the northern in goal when taken. Ground completely in shade now as left edge Shibasaki goes up to the 30. He's 15 in from touch on the eastern side. Plays the ball to Pakes. Passes to right and centre field to Jensen, who was just a little flat-footed. Only half a dozen on the game for Corey Jensen. He's a dozen his own side of halfway into the set for Brisbane. A Broncos kick downfield from Reynolds from inside the 40. To'o's brilliantly placed 5 in from the touchline western side to catch it 15 from his own line. He trots forward and then gallops into the fence, and then he's put down on his own third.
Yeah, I'm just watching the Brisbane Broncos at the moment, and they're just going one hand up the middle of the field, and they're playing into Penrith's hands. They do it all the time. Penrith are really good about getting 3 or 4 on a tackle and absolutely driving you back. They've got to set up a shift play and get Reece Walsh the ball out wide.
Quentin Hull, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs with you for Finals footy on ABC Sport. Penrith leading 6-0. Cleary runs it over halfway for the Panthers, but he's tackled by Smoothie and also Pakes. 20 in from the right and 40 from Brisbane's line. Panthers at the attacking end again. Liotta with a run. 8 on the gain. He wants to get to his feet quickly on 5 and does. Last play Penrith, blindside for Cleary. He's 30 out, puts a chip in behind the line. Walsh is out left by Tongor, but Tongor locks it on in doing so. And the handover will see Brisbane get the ball 5 from their own line. John Gibbs down on the touchline.
Well, they've been going a little bit one out up the middle here, the Brisbane Broncos, whereas Penrith have been more inclined to shift the ball. They're shifting it from one side to the other. And when they have had an opportunity to shift the ball to Reece Walsh out on the left side, it's been well marked by Alamotti and Isaac Tungor.
Second half in that New South Wales Cup Grand Final, the Warriors 18 lead the Dragons 12. Warriors 18, Dragons 12. Second half of the New South Wales Cup Grand Final. Winner to play Burleigh in the state championship game next week. Brisbane with the ball on the 30, left side shift. Hunt gives it on to Walsh, who loses it under the tackle of Cleary. Great hit from Nathan Cleary. It was 1-on-1, Cleary on Walsh, and Walsh comes up with a mistake.
Good defence there by the Panthers. You knew that the attack was coming down that left edge. the homework done by the Panthers. They've done a really, really good job. Tungo, he held out, he waited for his inside man, didn't commit too early. And Nathan Cleary comes across, throws a shoulder into the ball and forces that error there from Reece Walsh. And another opportunity now for Panthers in great field position.
It was just a little pump that Nathan did not buy. Walsh gave the dummy, clearly continued on his path and got him under the ribs and the ball came free. Penrith with the scrum, 40 metres out. Tungo and make a To'o on a little run up to the 30. Now back to the centre third for Lindsay Smith. And the big prop for the Panthers in pink, 25 out in centre field. 6-0 Penrith. Kenny to the right to Leota. Charges fourth. Stopped only a dozen from Brisbane's line. Slightly right of the uprights. Plays the ball to Kenny. Pass left for Cleary. Goes back to the right. Gives it to Yo. Straightens but can't get through Pakes and Haas, who are there to make the tackle. 6 metres out. Kenny goes right, given to Cleary. Oh, he charges into a couple of mouthguard comes clear. Piakura was the hit. Both are okay. And referee says play the ball. Nathan stopped a couple of metres out. Now to the left to Lungy. Grubbers for the in-goal area. And it's fielded by Ricky of Brisbane, who's tackled by Garner. Goal line dropout coming up for Brisbane.
Great touch there from Blaze Salungi. Felt a bit of pressure. Knew Nathan Cleary was in the tackle. And he just puts a nice little kick and gets the weight right. Really nice challenge too. What gets shoulder completely on Nathan Cleary's head there. And they did not affect Nathan one little bit. Are they going to go short here with Adam Reynolds or long?
Well, you remember the 2023 grand final and a few dropouts ended up changing the regulations about the short dropouts because of kicks like this. He's missed it, Adam, like he did a couple of times in that grand final. Reynolds has kicked it out on the full on the eastern side. So, on 2 occasions, Penrith took 2 points in that grand final, but these days it's just a handover. They changed the rules.
Yep.
So, Penrith on the attack, 10 from the goal line. Edwards passes to Papali'i. In for his first action, Isaiah Papali'i. Tackled only 6 metres from the Broncos line. Penrith lead 6-0. Kenny to the left for Yo. Give it a Cleary. Inside line run from Garner. Runs into Ricky, who makes the tackle. Garner midway goal line and left touch as he plays it 5 out. Kenny to open right through the hands of Yo to Cleary. Second man Edwards. Second man to Tungo. Tungo's on the 10. Shibasaki gets him. Good one-on-one tackle. Quick play the ball to Alamotti. Passing fielder went behind Martin. Picked up on the bounce by Papali'i, but he's tackled by Jensen and Pakes. 5 metres out. Kenny comes into dummy half. Passes left for Cleary. Pumps and gives to Lungy. Puts on a little spin, but Ricky makes the tackle. Good defence so far for Brisbane this set. Last play for the Panthers. To the right is Cleary. Grubber for the in-goal. Walsh fields it. Martin wraps his up. Walsh gets his arm free though and is able to plant it in the field of play to ensure Brisbane can play the ball and start this set rather than dropping out from their in-goal area.
That's a big play there from Reece Walsh. Liam Martin had him absolutely covered, but he ripped out of that play, gets the ball back in the field of play, and they're working their way upfield now.
23 minutes into the game, just the one try so far to Paul Alamotti, converted by Cleary, 6-0 Penrith. Mariner on an infield run, shrugs away from one defender before being stopped on the 30, and repeating Scott Sorensen out of the game. And next week as well, if they get there, is Cat 1 HIA and Sorensen done for the day, done for the season. Hunt kicks from just beyond the 40 at the end of the set. Sends Alamotti scurrying backwards. He has to go to deck, diving to make the catch. Fly from his own line. The Penrith winger picks himself up, runs back to the 20 before being tackled. Penrith start this set, 20 from the southern end. Not too far from Johnny Gibbs on the touchline.
Oh, we're seeing some great skill here. That was a great catch from Paul Alamotti to defuse that kick there. And the play by Reece Walsh was absolutely superb as well. But the attitude, that's a lost ball. Now that's the chance the Brisbane Broncos are looking for. Brian To'o has lost it. So here's the Broncos, 30 out.
Jumped on by Ricky, so Brisbane in attacking position. Off the mistake from Brian To'o. Straightening run from Hetherington, who's out there now for Brisbane. 23 out in centre field. Played to Pakes, given on to Willison. Xavier Willison back from a broken arm. Good first carry. He's 10 metres out. 3 Panthers there to hold him up. Willison plays it to Pakes, given right for Reynolds. Second man to Walsh. Cut out is intercepted by McLean. There's the first diamond. It's turned into a rock. But no, the referee says Penrith offside. McLean was running 90 metres downfield to score.
Give me the player.
Penalty Brisbane. McLean's run to the Caxton Street end.
And he's celebrated to the crowd. And they're all going, go back. What are they saying? He's offside. Play the ball. Oh.
Walsh going with the cutout pass. And McLean for left hand little juggle, and then So what was the call in the end?
Offside.
Offside, Penrith. Wow. Casey McLean is now walking back onside, having had to come 100 metres from the other end of the field.
Well, this is where you'd be coming back at him straight away. Go away, come back.
So 15 minutes to go in the first half. 6-0 Penrith, but Brisbane, that's a huge let-off for them. Hetherington on a straightening run. The Bronx are 5 metres out. Played to Pakes, gives it right. Knock on from Willison. Trying to charge through. It's in the in-goal area. To'o picks it up and gets back into the field of play to no advantage. And Dylan Edwards and Xavier Willison are having a word or two, just holding each other at arm's length. So again, there's a few other more so security guards than protagonists coming in to make sure it doesn't blow up. And now they separate.
Tell you what, if Wilson catches that ball, would have been a very hard tackle there for Luke Garner. But gets up, does a great job there, Garner, just to get into his face. Wilson couldn't pull that ball in, but that was a nice little set-up play there from the Broncos. A couple of things like going their way at the moment, but it's still only 6 points, the difference at the moment by Penrith up.
Penrith 6, Broncos nil. That Alamotti try 11 minutes in, converted by Cleary. That's Luke Lewis on Quentin Hull. John Gibbs is on the touchline. You're with Finals Footy on ABC Sport. The Cauldron absolutely packed and humming in this penultimate game of the season. The winner to play Penrith next week. Meanwhile, Warriors still 18-12 over the Dragons in that New South Wales Cup Grand Final earlier today here. Brisbane winning the NRLW prelim over Newcastle 30-6. They'll play the Roosters next week. Papali'i's got the ball. Again, the Broncos fans getting on the back of Brett Atkins, but he lets them play as Papali'i's 15 from halfway. Tungall runs one man infield. He's going to be put down a metre inside Penrith territory. Kenny in there at dummy half. Passes left and open side for Edwards. Onto Yo. Pop ball to Smith. Jagged down around the ankles by Ricky and stopped. 45 out last play. Quick play the ball. Kenny gives it on to Cleary. Cleary once again kicks it for Karapani's corner. He's up to it, Josiah Karapani. Catches it a dozen from his own line. And that's where the Broncos will start this set. And Gibbsy, there's absolutely nothing surer than Nathan Cleary wanting to give Josiah Karapani a very stern test with his kicking.
Well, he's getting one at this stage. He's taking them with aplomb. Liam Henry was about to come onto the field as a replacement, and they just pulled him back. So they're just giving whoever's out there, they're going to replace a couple more plays. But this is enthralling stuff. The crowd riding every play.
Staggs will play it just beyond the 20. Now Walsh decides to kick downfield. It's a bouncing ball, which Edwards just prevents from being a 40-20 by flipping the ball behind himself on the 20-metre line. He regathers 10 from his own line and is now tackled midway goal line and halfway. That was from the 30-metre line at the other end from the kick from Walsh and Dylan Edwards. It was a bit of a roller, and Edwards did a great job to defuse the 40-20 and prevent Brisbane from getting the ball back. Now Garner's got it. Penrith 10 from halfway. 20 in from touch on the left side as Garner plays it. There to Kenny. Given to the centre third. That Haas there along with Hetherington to make sure there's no further progress on the run of Alamotti. Now Henry is out there for the Panthers. He's taken down 38 metres from Brisbane's line. Last place is referee Atkins. Pass goes to the right for Cleary. Puts in another chip towards Karapani's wing. He leaps, he catches once more. But there was a block up. Penalty to Penrith. Penalty to Penrith with... I'm not quite sure which Bronco it was, Louis. I was looking at the ball, but someone was standing there, and
I think it was Shibasaki.
Yeah.
On the line. You can watch it. He's looking.
Yeah, just
makes that step out there. Takes Tungall out.
So Penrith with an opportunity to attack. First hit up taken by Henry. 8 metres out centre field. Penrith 6-0 and on the press. To the left, Yoda Cleary feeds Garner infield. But Garner's taken down. And he's going to stay down. That was sort of an ungainly looking tackle. Ricky and Hetherington up top, and third Bronco came in to put him down.
I think they're checking.
Who was it, Cloud?
That's horrible.
Xavier Willison with a very loose cannonball attack of the legs. Third man into a tackle. That's a penalty, Penrith, and on report.
Yeah, that's a horrible look. They'll take the 2 here too. Smart play. Put him up by 8, but yeah, that was horrible. He's trying to say it was above his knee. It was down below his knee. That's a terrible look there for Willison. But lucky there, Luke Garner gets straight back up.
Froggy texting saying, I might have said that the winner will play Penrith. That'll be interesting. No, the winner will play the Storm. There's no way Penrith could play Penrith or Brisbane will play Penrith again. Slip of the tongue. Thank you, Froggy. 0467 920 222. And indeed, the Panthers opting for 2 points here. And Nathan Cleary, at one point last week, just nudged his percentage above Jermaine Asako for the best of the year, but then he had a miss late on. So he had a good day with the boot. Cleary, 7 from 8 last week, kicking at around 88% for the season. Slightly left of the uprights, 15 metres out. Cleary kicks the penalty goal for Penrith. And the Panthers lead by 8 points to 0 with 11 minutes left in the first half at New South Wales Cup Grand Final. The Warriors have put on a couple of tries. Warriors 30, leading the Dragons 12, down to John Gibbs on the touchline.
Well, I reckon Xavier Wilson might have a bit of a problem for that, because that's the tackle that they're desperately trying to weed out of the game. And Garner came down, he hit his head, and that's why he said contact, incidental, because he hit after his legs were taken out, he hit the ground so quickly. So that might be a problem for Wilson. 8-0, that's a really good lead to Penrith.
Kickoff taken by Talangi and given to Papali'i, and he's 15 from the southern end when taken. It's been a very warm afternoon in Brisbane. Playing area now completely covered in shade. There's still a big portion of the eastern stand that's staring into that setting western sun, but it's been a gorgeous day in warm conditions. Great conditions for big-time footy as Martin taken beyond the 30. He almost got stripped by Shibasaki, but holds onto the ball, Liam Martin. Now Isaiah Yeo, the veteran, rolling down the middle third. Slammed into the turf. 11 inside Penrith territory. 25th final today for Isaiah Yeo. Such an experienced group. Is Dylan Edwards, who's playing in his 20th final. He's pushed back a metre or two by the Broncos defence. And Edwards to play at the fullback for Penrith. 5 inside Penrith territory. End of the set, and Cleary once again kicks. Guess where? To the defensive left for Karapani, who catches it, runs infield, gets to the 20, sees a wall of pink in front of him, and eventually takes the tackle 21 metres from the northern end goal.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about before the game, about Penrith Panthers. They're going to be happy to get to that 40 and 50 and kick into that right corner and frustrate the Brisbane Broncos. And I feel like they're doing a really good job of that. And it's like they've been doing it for 30 minutes now, and they have not got bored of it, Penrith, and they'll do it for 80 if they need to.
Mariner to the 30, infield Stags, no great gain, 15 from halfway now. Willison, man who dropped that ball en route to a try and then was on report. He's taken 5 from halfway. Crowd's roaring because Ezra Mam's come onto the field. Meanwhile, pass down the middle third, taken 43 metres out as the Broncos get to attacking territory. Reynolds with a bomb at the end of the set. To'os to catch, and he does well despite the attention of Ricky. And Ricky makes the tackle. To'o to start this set. 8 from the Panthers line. And the atmosphere, Johnny Gibbs with Ezra Mam returning to the NRL after he was one of the hamstrung trio in Melbourne back a little bit earlier in the season.
Well, he can certainly provide something different. Let's think about 2023 when he scored 3 tries. Fancy scoring 3 tries in a grand final and losing.
Yeah, he was en route for the Churchill until Penrith produced one of the great grand final comebacks of all time. Papali'i to halfway. Cleary decides to kick downfield. A tumbler at the end of the set, probably his worst of the game. Caught comfortably by Walsh on the 20. Bounces past Martin on the 30. Past another on the 40 before being stopped right from halfway.
And that's why they kick it to the right, because Reece Walsh's carry to that left-hand side is really, really dangerous. So it's keeping Reece Walsh out of the game in the backfield.
Man passes left for Shibasaki up to halfway. And now the Broncos into attack on the run of Karapani. 8-0 to Penrith. 8 minutes left in the first half. Finals footy on ABC Sport. Hunt to the right, gives it to Reynolds. He on to Hetherington. And Hetherington taken 37 metres from the Panthers line. Bronx yet to crack the scoreline in this one just yet. Reynolds gives it off to Willison. Tries to spin his way through, but Xavier Willison held up in the tackle. And he'll play it 28 metres out. Blindside left, it's given from Hunt through Walsh. Great defence on the right edge from Penrith. Ensured there was no way through on the scything run there from Piakura, who stays down. Brendan Piakura he's going to get up slowly, Piakura, and he's okay to play the football, having taken a moment. Now it's the last play for Brisbane, 20 metres out. Reynolds with a high kick to the attacking right side, looking for Stags. It bounces, kept alive. Pass to the edge for Mariner. He's taken by To'o and McLean. And I think there was a knock-on from the Broncos anyway in that. So had he been able to beat the defenders, it would have been called back. 6 minutes 47 seconds left in the first half. Penrith 8, Brisbane 0. Alamotti, the try scorer. Sorensen out of the game, out of the season with a Cat 1 HIA early on as the Panthers are 15 from their own line. Garner plays the ball. Kenny gives it on to McLean. Casey McLean, he's tackled just beyond the 20. The young centre for the Panthers plays it to Kenny. Now Alamotti has a run down the middle third, but he can't get through. Penrith about 16 metres inside their own half, slightly right side. Kenny brings it back left and centre field to Edwards. Runs at the line, pops it up to Papali'i, but the helmeted Ricky is there to make the tackle on the helmeted Papali'i. Penrith play at 5 inside their own half to the left. Fans thought it was forward. Red says play on. Cleary through to Lungy, through McLean, out to Toto on the wing. Runs infield. He's up to the 40. Palms away from a couple. Comes to Ricky. Ricky can't get him either. Penalty goes to Penrith anyway on a high tackle.
You see, how hard is Brian Toto to tackle? He's dead set. He must be the strongest human being out there. They're trying to claim that that pass is forward. I think it's fine on the big screen there. But again, this is what I like about the Panthers. Their skill on the edges is brilliant. Their hands, they get the ball out in front. Their hands are out in front. They get those nice passes on and they put pressure on the defenders. So here they go, the mighty Panthers. Are they going to set up to the left and go right, or are they going to come back this way? Who knows?
Really important time in the game for the locals. 5.5 to the break. Penrith with a fresh set on the attack, leading 8-0. Immediate right side shift. Cleary now feeds Tungor in the inside line. Isaac Tungor put down. Penrith centre field and 25 out. Kenny gives it on to Henry, who steps through one before being taken down by Hetherington. Only 11 metres out. Penrith again looking ominous to the left. Yo to Cleary. Papali'i to Talangi. Catch and give to McLean. He gives to To'o. Burrows infield. Defence were there and To'o is stopped only 5 metres out, a couple in from touch on the left. McLean's a distributor, passes infield to Talangi, now to Cleary, to Yo in the centre of the park, puts it under his left wing, runs into the tackle of Willison and also Hetherington, plays it 9 metres out. Kenny to the right for the Panthers, giving it Cleary, going to Edwards, tap on from Tongo onto Alamotti. Alamotti beats one, leaps a second and scores a second try. Paul Alamotti is having a rare final series. Hat-trick last week and 2 tries already today. And yet again in the shadows of half-time, the Panthers find points. Alamotti scores. 12-0 kick to come.
Yeah, well, Alamotti, you're right. He's having an absolute perler of a semi-final series. But you got to give his little centre pairing, Tungo, a massive wrap. Again, just this little shift, a nice little tip on the skill from the Panthers. Nathan Cleary going nice and square. Finds Edwards out the back. Quick tip on to Tungo. He knows exactly where Alamotti is. It's just a little tip on to Alamotti. He uses his speed. He threatens to go to the corner. Comes off his right foot and then just jumps over one of the Brisbane Broncos players like as a hurdles and scores a great try. And that's another try to the Panthers on that right edge. They are in scintillating form.
So what's that count up to for Paul Alamotti, Gibbsy?
Well, 8 tries, and this is only his 6th final. He's yet to lose one. Nathan Cleary knew exactly what, Ivan, should I say, probably getting some advice from Nathan, but Ivan Cleary knew exactly what to do, putting Paul Alamotti in. But what about the hands on the left-hand side? And they caused all sorts of problems for Brisbane. And then they went to the right-hand side, and Tungo Alamotti was like a hurdler. He is so strong and so agile. This is impressive stuff. And by the way, Scott Sorensen out of the game, but he is on the bench, which is good news for Scott. He won't be playing next week, but he's on the bench cheering on his teammates.
Good on you, Gibbsy. Yeah, he copped a... Was it friendly fire, you think?
Yeah, it was friendly fire. He got a head, the top of the head of Blaze Talangi and the bottom of his chin.
Yeah. So Cleary now will try and convert. 19 metres out. About 13 metres in from touch on the right. 3 minutes to the break. 12-0 Penrith. Cleary approaches, strikes, converts. Panthers 14, Broncos 0. With Melbourne awaiting next Sunday in the grand final for the victor.
Broncos have to be next to score. I think if it gets out to 18 or 20, Penrith are not going to let them back in the game. They have to be next to score, the Brisbane Broncos. Before half-time would be nice, but they need to be next. They can't let the Panthers score again.
Well, as you said in the pre-game, it's one thing coming from, 28-12 down against Canberra. But I think being down that much against the Raiders doesn't get into your head the same way being behind against Penrith would get into their head.
Correct.
So I've got battles on all fronts at the moment, Brisbane. Reece Walsh with the restart. Again to Talangi on the goal line, and Papali'i's going to take it into the defensive line. Oh, he loses the ball. Great hit from Hetherington. Taken by Hunt. The Broncos have got it. He pops up a little pass, but no way through there. For Piakura, here is the chance for Brisbane. Piakura plays it a dozen out, Hetherington to the right, no way through. 8 metres out, slightly right of the uprights. Played to Hunt, passes left for Reynolds. Pops it up for the straightening run there of Piakura, and he's going to be foot down. Just to the left of the uprights and 5 metres out. Hunt distributes right for Reynolds. Little pop pass for Willison, can't get through. Garner, good first contact there with a helmeted duo with Henry and Papali'i to help out. Played to Hunt, 5 out. Passes left for Haas. Haas puts it under his wing. Tries to do it himself. It takes 3 Panthers to stop him. Cleary and Yeo and Martin around him. Played to Hunt. Passes back right for Reynolds. Thinks of grubbering. Doesn't. Gives the pass to Willison. Put down on 5. 8 metres out in centre field. 2 minutes to the break. Penrith 14-0. Hunt with a pass to the left. Haas on the crash ball line, and Cleary's the one to tackle him and hold him up a metre short. Oh, that is brilliant football from Nathan Cleary. He read what was coming. He knew the most likely threat and made it his job. His job, Louis, to make the tackle on Payne Haas. Those are the things that don't often get cheered for Nathan Cleary, but what a player.
Yeah, he's done a couple of really good defensive reads so far in this opening 40 minutes, Nathan Cleary, but the scramble defence from the Panthers is absolutely brilliant. If you're going to score a try, you really, really have to earn it. So good work there by the Panthers on their goal line.
Papali'i over the 30. And he'll play the ball for Penrith, 15 from halfway. 70 seconds to the break. Panthers lead at 14-0. Edwards to the right, through Cleary, out to Tungor. Tungor into the tackle of Shibasaki and Mam, and put down right on halfway. 2 metres in from the eastern touchline. There's one more play in this set for Penrith. Cleary puts up a bomb which will come down about 20 metres out. Walsh is on that left side now. He wanted to catch it. He does. 20 from the line. Passes a 25-metre ball infield. But Mariner catches and can't get through. Broncos with 40 seconds left to try and get something out of this half. Staggs on the right side run. Good run from Staggs. Couple of post-contact meters. He'll play at 15 from halfway. Played to Reynolds. Passes infield for Hunt. Hunt sort of pops it up to Haas, who's flat-footed. That didn't look all that organised. But Haas gets going and gains 10 before being stopped. 5 inside Brisbane territory. There's still 4 tackles in the set. 20 seconds left in the half. Mam receives. Pops it up for Hetherington. Down the middle third. He reels back under pressure in the tackle. He's okay. Plays at 45 out. Pass to the left for Mam. Mam is put down. 32 metres out. 6 seconds left. Last roll of the dice for Brisbane. Walsh passes to the left edge. Shibasaki has a run. Tackle, got a pass away to Karapani. The grubber goes straight to Edwards. Edwards takes it and will be happy enough to take the tackle. And that's half-time at the Cauldron. And there's a huge amount of atmosphere here. Among the hoots, what you can't hear is the Panthers faithful down in that southeastern corner, standing and applauding their men. They are 40 minutes away from a 6th straight grand final. Penrith 14, lead Brisbane 0. Alamotti scoring twice early and late in that first half, 11 minutes in and 3 minutes from the break on either side. A Nathan Cleary penalty goal means that it's just a bit better than the 2 converted tries. It's 14-0 for Penrith at halftime. Luke Lewis.
Yeah, I just found that the Panthers, it took them probably 10 minutes to get into that game, and then finally they got a little bit of field position, and they finally got into what they do really well, and that's happy to get to the 40, the 50, kick deep into that right corner, and they defended with their, they attacked with their defence, and then when they got their opportunities, their skill out wide, absolutely brilliant. And for me, the Broncos look a little bit lost. They're playing one out right up the middle of the field. They're playing into Penrith's hands. If they want to win this game, they've got to have some shifts coming out of their own end. They've got to set up a side and then play at the back. They just keep playing to their front runner, and the Panthers are getting 2 or 3 in the tackle, slowing down to play the ball and playing to their tempo. So it's been a real good quality 40 minutes there to the Panthers.
John Gibbs has been close at hand on the touchline. Gibbs, a thought or two at halftime?
Oh, this has just been another clinical performance by the Panthers. They've been given opportunities and they've taken them. They had a few opportunities, Brisbane, but it was, as Louis says, their attack through their defence. They're so miserly. They did come up with a couple of fundamental errors. Brian To'o and one of his teammates have come up with errors that gave Brisbane a chance, but they really didn't look like scoring. And when they went for that left-hand favoured raid, bringing in Reece Walsh, it was really well marked by Isaac Tungor, also the right centre, Liam Martin and Paul Alamonte out there in the wing. They've been able to handle it quite comfortably. So it's just about releasing and giving some opportunities. They're going to have to take some chances in the second half. They can't play a conservative brand. If they play conservatively, they will not be going to the grand final.
Good on you, Gibbsy. Great to hear from John Gibbs on the touchline. You can get in touch on the SMS. The number is 0467920222. 0467920222. Please send us your name and where you are texting from. One here saying, I'm hardly hearing Reynolds' name in the call. That hasn't got a name with it. He hasn't had the most prolific of first half.
Well, he's not doing much at the moment at all. If anything, he's come up with a couple of kicks and that's about it. And Reece Walsh looks a bit lost out there too because Adam Reynolds has probably taken a little bit more of that leadership role. That's where I was talking about before about Billy Walters. Billy Walters is all about get the ball to Reece Walsh, get the ball to Reece Walsh, and then we just defend and we run when we get our chance. Reynolds is more, no, I want this play set up there for this play. Reece Walsh doesn't play like that. He plays off the cuff and he plays what's in front of him. You need to give him more opportunity.
Interesting one here from a long-time friend of ours on the program, Trish, Roosters from Concord. She goes, way too good. They deserve 5 in a row. I didn't say it. even the fans of the opposition teams in the competition. Yeah, good on you, Trish. 0467920222. The night from Bundaberg texts, I'm happy to be listening to the game on the ABC app from a cruise ship on the way to Spain and Portugal. Good on you. 0467920222. Around the grounds before we get to the newsroom, Warriors look like they're headed for grand final day in some capacity in the state championship game. A state championship game featuring the international team, the Warriors, their reserve grade team in the New South Wales Cup.
That's a great year too.
Yeah, they had.
Really good year.
I mean, it'll be interesting. I know one year Tweed Heads won the Queensland Cup and it was like, well, there's a New South Wales team winning the Queensland Cup. Well, here we've got the Warriors team looking like they'll be representing the New South Wales Cup on grand final day. The winner to play Burleigh. Warriors lead that 30 points to 12 getting into the second half. Around the AFLW venues, 2 full-time results for you. Adelaide's beaten Sydney by 2 points. The Crows 6-5-41 to the Swans 6-3-39. And Brisbane has beaten Richmond 7-12-54 to the Tigers 3-2-20. A couple of games in the NBL as well today. The Kings going down to the Taipans. Cairns 77 have beaten the Kings 74. That game just going to full time. And the game between the 36ers and the Bullets is just underway. Adelaide 27 leading the Brisbane Bullets 21. Halftime here in the second of the preliminary finals. Penrith 14 lead Brisbane 0. You'll be back on finals footy on ABC Sport at the Cauldron after the latest from the ABC newsroom.
This is ABC News with David Rowlands. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has been granted an audience with King Charles at Balmoral Castle in Scotland. It was his 4th audience with the British monarch and followed the King's visit to Australia in October last year. It comes a day after he met with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, with the pair discussing defence and the rise of populism and the far right. Mr Albanese says as a child he could never have imagined meeting the King.
At times like this, I think about my origins. I think about what my mum would think as well. And it was wonderful to have the audience with His Majesty and to have a great discussion. He, of course, is fascinated about Australia. He has a great affection for our country.
The federal government is still trying to determine which medical companies will be impacted by the latest US tariffs. President Donald Trump has announced a 100% tariff on imports of branded or patented pharmaceutical products from next month. It appears likely Australian companies will be spared if they have or are building a manufacturing plant in the US. Asked if the government had spoken with the Trump administration about the announcement, Health Minister Mark Butler wouldn't go into specifics.
In relation to pharmaceuticals, we're determined to try and protect our exporters as much as possible. We're making the case to the US administration as often as we possibly can that it's in both of our interests, both of our countries' interests, to continue the tariff-free trade.
The Western Australian Government has announced a raft of proposed changes for novice drivers as the state's road toll continues to climb. Kenneth Pung has this report.
Under the proposal, the minimum period for learner drivers would increase from 6 to 12 months. Logbook hours would increase from 50 to 75. Provisional licence terms would increase from 2 to 3 years, and P-platers would not be able to take calls in vehicles unless they have a hands-free in-car system. A 6-week community consultation period is underway on the proposals. From October the 8th, authorities will start issuing fines of up to $1,000 for any motorist caught by new smart traffic cameras using a mobile phone. WA's road toll for the year to date is 140, the highest it's been in 10 years.
A search is underway of the New South Wales north coast for a missing boat believed to be carrying 2 men. Police say an 8-metre white catamaran left Yamba Harbour yesterday morning and was scheduled to arrive at Southport in Queensland that afternoon. When the boat failed to arrive, emergency services began searching the coastline. Police from both New South Wales and Queensland, along with Marine Rescue and the Westpac Rescue Helicopter Service, are involved in the search. A man has been taken to hospital with life-threatening burns following a vegetation blaze in Queensland's Scenic Rim. Emergency services were called to bushland beside Erin Court in Glen Eagle at around 12:20 this afternoon. Paramedics took the man to Bow Desert Hospital. The blaze is under control, but fire crews remain on the scene, controlling surviving hotspots. At least 39 people are dead after a crush at a political rally for the popular actor Vijay in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu. The BBC's Anbara Sanatharajan has more.
Tens of thousands of people had gathered to listen to a speech by a famous film star turned politician, Vijay, who floated his TVK party last year. He has been holding rallies ahead of the state elections early next year. It's not clear what led to the crash. Television pictures showed as the event progressed, several people fainted in packed crowds, leading to confusion. In recent years, deadly crashes at packed political and religious gatherings have become a grimly familiar tragedy in India.
People will go to the polls in Switzerland later today to vote on the introduction of electronic identity cards. The plan has already been approved by both houses of Parliament, and the government recommends a yes vote. It's the second nationwide ballot on the issue after Swiss voters rejected the idea in 2021 amid concerns over data protection and unease over the proposed system that would be run largely by private companies. Under the revised proposal, the new system would remain entirely in public hands. The data on the electronic IDs would be stored on users' smartphones rather than centrally, and it would be optional. And in sport, Brisbane are through to the NRL W Grand Final after defeating Newcastle 30-6 at Lang Park. Kerry Johnson scored 2 tries for the Broncos as they extended their winning streak to 9 games. They'll now face the unbeaten minor premiers, the Sydney Roosters, in next Sunday's decider at Stadium Australia. This is ABC News.
Detective Jay Swan rides into a new town and starts digging.
Ready or not, here I come.
The acclaimed series returns. Mystery Road Origin. Sunday nights on ABC TV and ABC iView.
League lovers, bludging on the blind side.
Once peace breaks out, or at least a ceasefire in Ukraine, then you'll be able to start talking rugby league in Russia.
10 a.m. Saturdays on ABC Radio or on the ABC Listen app.
ABC sports coverage of the 2025 NRL Final Series.
Ball played to Kenny. Goes to the blindside right, quick hands. Edwards, Tungle, lightning hands to Alamotti. Brilliant finish in the right corner. Diving for the one-handed right-hand plant next to the corner post. What a final series he's had so far, Paul Alamotti. And Penrith score first after 11 minutes. Now to Cleary, to Yo in the centre of the park, puts it under his left wing, runs into the tackle of Willison and also Hetherington. Plays it 9 metres out. Kenny to the right for the Panthers, giving it Cleary, going to Edwards, tap on from Tungo onto Alamotti. Alamotti beats one, leaps a second, and scores a second try. Paul Alamotti is having a rare final series. Hat-trick last week and 2 tries already today. And yet again in the shadows of halftime, the Panthers find points. Alamotti scores.
ABC sports coverage of the 2025 NRL Final Series.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And on the ABC Listen app.
This is Finals Footy on ABC Sport. My name is Quentin Hull. It's wonderful to have your company at Lang Park in Brisbane. 40 minutes left for either the Panthers or the Broncos in 2025. And it's looking ever more likely that we might just be hitting the repeat button from last year's grand final. Melbourne is there already, and the Panthers, they lead Brisbane by 14 points to 0. If they can get it done here, it will be 2024 revisited with Melbourne and Penrith to back up. But of course, we saw what the Broncos did in their one and only final earlier this season. They were 28-12 down to the Canberra Raiders and turned on an amazing comeback there. They're in front of a very parochial home crowd here that are baying for penalties at every point in time. Referees getting a bake here. It's got the old style cauldron feel about it, but the Panthers have been too good in the first 40. Messages from all around the world, just a couple of them. Thank you. Great to hear from you. 0467 920 222. Hi Hugo, the Bronx. John from Pottsville, who's currently in Italy on the way to Tuscany. Up the riff, says Blake, who's listening deep in AFL territory in northern Tasmania, loving the call. Blake, a Penrith fan in northern Tassie, good on you. Chrissy's in Poland. Texts, I'm a riff girl holidaying in Warsaw. Thank goodness for the ABC Listen app. Yep, indeed. And speaking of said Listen app, on Tuesday, the start of the Women's One Day World Cup as well. Alyssa Healy's team looking to continue their world domination. So just another part of the world of sport we bring you. The pink ball button on the ABC Listen app. Tuesday, that World Cup starts with the Australians over in the subcontinent. Craig and Lisa, they're driving from Jugi on to Thurul. Our nephew's at the game with his disability group. He's a Broncos supporter. We want them to win for him, but Penrith are playing the better game. Indeed. A few more before you. Louis, Monty and Remy Liston, they're on the road in Sri Lanka listening to the broadcast. Go Panthers. Mark from Morayfield. Broncos, question mark. More like donkeys, exclamation point. Yeah, look, I think that's a bit unfair. They're playing a very, very good football team, Luke Lewis, in the Penrith Panthers, who they seem to me to be the most unflustered rugby league team I think I've ever seen.
I feel like the Broncos are trying to play the same game as Penrith, but you can't because Penrith are so good at it. The Brisbane Broncos look so good when they just play their style of football, and that's when they're asking questions all the time. And I said this before, here come the Penrith Panthers back out in the field now, but if they're just going to run one out up the field, it's going to be a Penrith afternoon. But if they set up an edge and they shift over to the other side, take the metres back to the middle, shift again, they've got a chance their arm, they've got to play some football, and they've got a lot of great football players and X-Factor players in their side, so they need to get the ball into their hand. Tony Staggs hardly had any carries. Reece Walsh had 62 metres in the first 40 minutes. It's unheard of. They need to step up.
And I don't have the exact numbers, but speaking to our stats man Brad Talon briefly at half-time, in a roundabout way, Payne Haas had 60 carry metres in the first half. The rest of the pack had 80 combined.
No one over 100. And then in Penrith, you've got Paul Adamati over 150. You've got Brian Toll, 110. And then you've got their forwards doing all the hard yards through the middle of the pack. Their kick chase, everything that they're doing. They won't stop. They'll go for 80. So big 40 minutes here for the Broncos.
We've got 2 of our 3 games on grand final day sorted. Earlier today, Brisbane booked their date with the Roosters in the NRLW. The Brisbane winning that NRLW prelim over Newcastle 30-6. And the Warriors have beaten the Dragons in the New South Wales Cup grand final. Full-time score there, Warriors 30, Dragons 12. So Warriors beat Burleigh in the state championship game, which will kick off the trifecta of games for the season finale. Second half's underway here. Broncos with possession. They're running to the Caxton Street end, so running from south to north in this second half as Willison takes the first carry. He's 15 from the goal line. One man infield on the second play, taken forward by Ricky. It's taking a while to get used to Jordan Ricky in the headgear there as he plays it on to Haas. Haas over the third. Plays it 18 from halfway. Given on to Hetherington. Hetherington runs upfield, and I think they've made this with Ben Hunt is certainly playing dummy half in this first set. I wonder whether that's something that Michael Maguire's tweaked to try and get this Bronx team going. Pass over halfway and put to the deck. Yep, Hunt's definitely jumped into that full-time dummy half role. Passes right for Reynolds, end of the set. 45 from the Penrith line. It's a bomb downfield, caught comfortably by Edwards. Half a dozen from his own line and smashed in the tackle of Ezra Mann on the kick return. He's going to get up. He's okay. Down to Gibbsy for his halftime news. Johnny Gibbs.
Yeah, well, obviously Nathan Cleary, Ivan Cleary is very happy with what they're doing. The Penrith Panthers, just more of the same. They're going to cut the errors and build completions of Brisbane Broncos. But the big story that's going to be, I think, really dominating what happens next week is around Scott Sorensen. He was deemed to be Category 1 out of the game. Now, he passed his test. He passed his HIA. He was above the baseline. He's been out here watching the game. So you can bet your sweet Bippy that Scott Sorensen and the Panthers will be trying to get that HIA category reviewed in an attempt to play next week.
Yeah, Gibbsy right on it on the touchline. Talangi kicks downfield at the end of the set. A bit of a hoping chip which bounces and is fielded by Walsh. Brisbane have got the ball off that Penrith charge downfield. Broncos 10 from their own line. So, yes, Sorensen with a head collision with a teammate early in the first half, ruled out of the game with a Cat 1, which means he can't play today nor next week on the mandatory stand down. But, well, apparently there might be a postscript to that. Thanks, Gibbsy. 14-0 the scoreline in favour of Penrith. The Stags goes to the 20. Now Willison up to the 30. And again, Ben Hunt's in there, Louis. We'll get a thought on that. Hunt definitely now running things from dummy half to the right. Haas to Reynolds. Gives it on to Walsh. Accelerates Talangi there to make the tackle after it got through McLean. Play 10 from halfway. Ricky runs out of dummy half. Pushes away from McLean. Passes back infield to Walsh. Gives it on to Reynolds. Into the set. A little grubber and chase from Reynolds. Fielded though by Edwards of Penrith on his own 20. Gives the pass on to Alamotti. Almost ran an obstruction into the Cleary. That's why the crowd's going nuts. But the Bronx make the tackle and the ref lets it go. So what about that switch as the Panthers through Tungora are a couple from halfway?
Yeah, not surprised at all, Q. I thought exactly what was going to happen. Pates was going to go off, Hunt was going to go in the middle, and then Ezra Mann to come in at 5'8". So no surprise there. For me, that was the shift they need to do, but they need to come back to the middle and set up for a kick. That was a poor finish to that set there for the Broncos.
Penrith have got it. Henry's tackled. Centre field and 32 metres from Brisbane's line. Plays the ball to Kenny. Passes left for Cleary. Pops it up for Papali'i. Into the tackle of Ricky and Haas and also Willison. They'll put him down on 5. 21 metres out. Blindside left for Cleary. A chip in behind the line. Walsh leaps and catches. He's taken immediately by Garner. And the Broncos have the ball 5 metres from the southern end. Reynolds passes. Oh, dropped ball from Dean Mariner. Play on. Penrith shift it right. Tungos passes to Alamotti. Alamotti beats 2. Goes to a knee. Gets up. Beats a third. Now was eventually tackled. Paul Alamotti. His studs failed him at the crucial time. But the error from Mariner. And the Panthers are on the attack again. Edwards centre field running naturally across the 10. A little wrap around with Papali'i. Now he feeds the inside line of McLean. And McLean's going to be stopped only 8 metres out. What an error from Mariner. Panthers 14-0 early second half. Cleary decides to run it, given to Papali'i. Taken only a metre from the goal line. He'll play it 5 to the left of the uprights. Kenny passes left for Cleary. Dummies. Still got a Cleary. Now passes back to a flat-footed Yo in the centre third. And Isaiah Yo is hard to stop but will be stopped by 2 tacklers from the Bronx, 10 metres from the goal line. Kenny bops right but passes left. Henry into the defence of Willison got through. Willison comes again and eventually stops him. Only a metre out. Panthers are coming to get him here. To the left, Talangi's pass goes along the ground. Picked up by To'o, who has to run infield and laterally from that left wing. He's put down 10 metres out. Last play. Kenny blindside for Cleary. Cleary goes himself and is held up a metre out by the Broncos defence. And Dean Mariner's the most relieved man among the 52,000 here at the Cauldron.
Yeah, I tell you what, he would have been absolutely freaking out that set there, Mariner. But I tell you, if Nathan Cleary just pops that ball off his hip, weighs Talangi untouched, but he was happy to get tackled 5 metres out, and the Broncos get a penalty for defending their line. So good scramble defence, and then a really nice strong carry, and here they are now going to kick their way out of their own end.
High tackle from one of the Panthers tackling brigade. He slipped a bit, but yeah, it was high from Garner, so that gives the Broncos the penalty. John Gibbs on the touchline.
Well, Aaron Wallace is one of the very good statisticians in the game. This is a sobering thought for Brisbane. Since 2020, when Penrith have been leading by 12 or more points, they're 98-0.
Well, let's do it. 2 more to go to get to the 100. 98-0 if they've led a game by 12 or more.
Correct, since 2020.
That's some stat. Good on you, Gibbsy. Broncos with good territory on the kick downfield. Play 2 and they're into attacking territory on the run of Haas. Plays at 45 metres out. 14-0 to Penrith. No change to the halftime score. Man passes left to Walsh. Tackle but keeps it alive. With a pass to Shibasaki on the 40. Beats one. Got through Tungor but he couldn't get through Martin and Edwards. And they'll stop him. Brisbane to play at 15 in from the left and 25 out. Wavy 50. Ping on the hold down from the Panthers. So a press set here for the Broncos as Willison's put back on his heel. Rocked in the tackle. He'll play at 22 metres out. Hunt passes right for Haas. Through the hands to Reynolds. Has to run it. And he's taken down 18 metres out. Slightly bright. Ben Hunt there at dummy half. Passes left and centre field. Hetherington on to Haas. Who runs at Liam Martin. Almost got through him. Martin hangs on for dear life. Got help from Edwards to put him down. 5 metres out. Crowd again want ruck interference. Not this time from the referee. Willison charges to the post. Tackle 3 metres out. Bronx yet to get on the board in this preliminary final. Hunt dummies left. Passes right to Reynolds. Grubber to the end goal area. Picked up by Katoni Staggs. Brisbane on the board. Staggs scores for the Broncos. The preliminary finals alive. 7 minutes into the second half. Penrith 14, lead Brisbane 4, kick to come.
Well, the Broncos had to be next to score, and the Panthers are absolutely pumping their line, and they finally get a penalty. They get upfield nicely. They get a set restart, and then this time Adam Reynolds looks up. He sees the communication from Tony Staggs on the outside with his right hand, pointing, put a grubber through. Doesn't get the best kick, gets a little bit of a ricochet there off Luke Garner. It pulls up short, but a nice little pick up there from Katoni Staggs. Goes over, gets the Broncos on the board, and it's 14-4, kick to come, game back on.
And just what the contest needed, Johnny Gibbs on the touchline.
Oh, there's no doubt about that, and they needed Adam Reynolds to get more involved. Certainly, they had that situation with Ben Hunt, a dummy half, and Ezra Mam into 5'8". Corey Pace went off a few minutes before half-time. Nothing was doing, but they've bounced into action, and even the grubber kick, the kick and chase by Adam Reynolds, that was something different. They're going to try and break things up, but that was a beautiful kick and really scooped up nicely by Katoni Staggs. Game on.
12 tries now for Katoni Staggs this year. And Reece Walsh is on kicking duty, as he has been in the absence of Adam Reynolds, but he's kept that job. Walsh slightly right of the uprights, kicks the conversion. Panthers 14, Broncos 6, 31 and a half to go. It's finals footy on ABC Sport with Quentin Hull, John Gibbs and this man Luke Lewis.
Yeah, well, we've seen that the Panthers last week start clock watching around the 40 minutes after that first half against the Bulldogs. And they've started off a little bit slow here. But again, I'm putting this down to the Broncos. Their first opportunity they get to come out their own end, they shift it to the left. They keep the ball alive. They show a little bit of second phase offload. And they really started to trouble the Panthers' defence. They've got to continue to do that.
And now the crowd, if anything, gets back into the game as well. Dylan Edwards with a very deep restart, caught only a couple of metres from the goal line from Mariner. He gives it to Haas to run into the defensive line. And big pain up to the 10 at the southern end. Plays the ball there to Ben Hunt. Given on to Ricky, who shoulders his way into the defensive yo and gets up to the 20, so 2 tackles and basically 10-metre gain on each for Brisbane. Now tries Tora Staggs down the right edge, runs into Talangi. Good contact. Have to work hard to tackle him though. Staggs to the 30, plays it to Hunt out in the left, back to right, left and centre field to Hetherington. Hetherington tackled him 11 metres from halfway. Played to Hunt, given left for Haas, runs at the line, gives to Walsh, pops it up for the infield line there. Rapia-Cura almost got through, but he's knocked down by the defence of Papali'i. End of the set, Walsh decides to put up a bomb. It'll come down 15 metres out. Edwards leaps and out, catches man. Great catch before Shibasaki wraps him up. And the Penrith full-back will play it 15 metres from the northern end. Cleary's in there at dummy half. Passes one man to the right and blind for Alamotti. Gains 10. Midway goal line and halfway. Scores 2 tries already today, Alamotti, as he plays the ball. Tungo, one man down the middle third and taken just beyond the 30. There's half an hour to go. Penrith lead 14-6. It's finals footy on ABC Sport as Moses Leota crumbles another 10 down the middle third. We'll play it 6 inside Penrith's half. Kenny gives it on to Henry, who's picked up and driven into the deck right on halfway. Aggressive tackle from Piakura and Willison. Last play for the Panthers in pink. It's Cleary on halfway with a bomb. High to the defensive left corner of Karapani again. He's been peppered. He catches it again. He's caught most of them today. And he runs up beyond the 10 and is stopped about 18 metres from the southern end. Half an hour to go. Penrith 14, Brisbane 6.
Well, Brisbane are definitely starting to get some energy back into that jersey, which is good to see. And I like their setups at the moment. After about play 3, they've got options to go to the right or to the open side, and they're looking down short sides as well. So liking the way they're playing.
Mariner plays it a dozen from halfway. Ben Hunt goes for the 40-20 kick. Great purchase. He's got it. Has he? Where does the ref's flag go up? No. It's the far side, and the referee, the touchy says it's a metre before the little orange post and red line of the 20.
I thought it broke the plane of the 40 there.
Well, it's the far touchline. I thought it was closer than where the ref and the touchy put his flag up. But Penrith have got the ball, and it's not a 40-20. But gee, it was a good kick from Ben Hunt at a time of need. Now Talangi drops the ball on a run. Second play of the set for Penrith, picked up by Brisbane on halfway. Willison passes to Walsh in broken field, but Walsh runs into the tackle of Leota and is stopped 38 metres out. This game is turning. You can just sense it. It was an absolute one-way street for the first 45 minutes, but now Brisbane slowly getting into the game. Penrith lead 14-6, 28 minutes to go. Broncos 30 metres out. Passes put down. Make it 29 from the goal line as Payne will get to his feet and play it. Ben Hunt passes infield there to Reynolds. Given on to Hetherington, who slips and then is jumped on by Martin. Tackled 25 metres out. Hunt's got options either side. Slow play the ball. Rep lets it go. Given a Mam on the left. Mam decides to dummy and run. Kenny and Cleary make the tackle. And the ball comes free. Penalty Brisbane. 2 in the tackle, hand in the run.
Well, the wheels are starting to fall off for the Panthers at the moment, and all the momentum is with the Broncos. They had a nice shape set up to that right edge going towards Blaze Talangi and McLean. And that's a silly play there from Nathan Cleary. He just races it out on the ground as clear as day.
Well, Gibbsy, you've been here on Origin Nights, you've been here at Magic Round. How's it feel down there today?
It feels absolutely fantastic. This is an interesting one. I know there's a long way to go, but they would have thought about kicking the goal. It's an easy position, but they're going for extra points. They know it would have only been a converted try behind, but they may get goal here.
So Tolsey's taken a run, the Broncos run it, and again there's a lie down, then the ruck ref says play on. Hunt passes right to Reynolds, gives it on to Ricky, driven into the deck by the tackle of Garner. Broncos 10 to the right of the uprights, 10 metres out, played to Hunt. Garner's down and hurt and back play. Play on, Reynolds to the left for Mam. Mam is tackled by Cleary. 8 metres out, Garner's left arm is the issue. Gibbsy, keep an eye on it. Mam plays it 8 metres out, midway left touch and uprights, back to right and centre field. Reynolds gives it on to Hetherington on a straightening run. Tackled 8 metres out. Now Hunt in there distributing. Goes right to Haas, who's flat-footed on the 10. Now passes right for Reynolds. He's flat-footed too. Pops it up to Walsh. This is unorganised stuff from Brisbane. And Walsh, well, he almost straightened off his left foot. Gets taken. A dozen metres out. Last play, Brisbane. Hunt passes a sweeping ball to the left for Mam. Cuts it out towards Shibasaki. Takes contact. Tungo with the tackle. End of set. Handover. Panthers survive. 14 minutes played second half. 26 minutes left in the game. Penrith 14, Brisbane 6. Johnny Gibbs down on the touchline. Luke Garner looked in a bit of strife a moment ago.
Yeah, he's still being attended to by a trainer, so he's staying on at this stage. That was excellent defence, and Brisbane asking plenty of questions. They have lifted in intensity remarkably over the last 6 or 7 minutes, but Garner is staying out there.
It's a rueful sight on that attacking left side as Talangi almost breaks a tackle. Haas had to cling on and drag him down. Plays Talangi up to the 30. Plays it there for Penrith to Edwards. Given left side from McLean. He's taken down by Staggs. And Penrith to play the ball. 5 in from touch on the left, 5 from halfway. 25 and a half left in the game. Panthers lead 14-6. Past the midfield. Cleary gives it to Leota. He on to Martin, who's having a one-man ball with Shibasaki. Shibasaki says, I don't want a one-man ball. Help me out. Hetherington comes there to help put him down along with Ezra Mam. Great run from Martin. End of the set, blindside for Cleary. Got dumped by Mam as he kicked downfield. There's some afters there. Meanwhile, Walsh has caught it. A dozen from his own line. There's a fight near the western touchline as Walsh is on a kick return. He almost runs through the fight to keep going. He does. He breaks a tackle before eventually being taken by Yo near the NRL logo western side. Gibbsy ringside.
Well, what's happened there is that Ezra Mam, he took out Nathan Cleary. It was simultaneous for one, it's okay. Now Nathan Cleary took offence to it. He got up, gave him a push, and then Ezra Mam went back at him, and Liam Martin comes in. Liam Martin might go to the bin because that was silly play by Liam Martin, but it was Ezra Mam who came up with what I thought was a fair tackle. Nathan Cleary didn't like it, and then the problem being for Penrith is that Liam Martin's come in late.
There are 45,000 people with 2 hands in the air signalling 10, Louis.
Yeah, that's fine. But look, Nathan Cleary, he was fine. He just got up and just sort of tried to push him off. Ezra Mann gave him a couple of pushes in the head, but Liam Martin is the one.
Here's referee Atkins with Nathan Cleary.
He comes running you to escalate a more penalty to Brisbane.
Penalty Brisbane, no 10.
Liam Martin.
Penalty, no bin. The vote's in.
Well, you know what? This has been
It's a very safe Maroon seat here, but the vote's in on that decision.
And this is where Reece Walsh comes into his own. There's a little bit of something going on. This is when Reece Walsh likes to fire up. So Penrith have got to be right on their guard here.
Well, Adam Reynolds kicks for touch. And finds it 40 metres from the Panthers line. This is what we expected. It's living up to it. The Panthers dominant in the first 40, 14-0 at halftime, but Brisbane coming at them. 14-6 the scoreline. Broncos on the attack as Haas has a break down the 30, taken down 22 metres out. Martin, the tackler there with Leota. Slightly left-hand side, played to Hunt, passes to Reynolds. Centrefield pops it up for Mam. Straightening run, but Garner makes the tackle. Garner makes the tackle 19 metres out. Slowies play the ball there for Hunt. Given on to Tolte, and Ben Tolte, the late season, late bloomer for the Broncos, taken 11 metres from the goal line. Hunt passes right for Reynolds. Second man to Mam, cuts it out for the edge. Given on to Mariner, tried to kick it into the in-goal. He's kicked it dead. Kicked it over the touchline.
10 by 10.
And that diffuses the danger for the Panthers, and the cauldron goes from boil to simmer, albeit temporarily, with 23 and a half minutes left. Penrith leading 14 points to 6. Finals footy on ABC Sport.
Well, who's the most dangerous player for the Brisbane Broncos? Reece Walsh. Did not touch the ball once in that set, attacking the Panthers line when they're tight. I don't understand. He's got to get in there, get him the ball in that part of the field.
Two-time premiership winner Luke Lewis with you. Quentin Hull and Johnny Gibbs on the call. 52,000 in the house, and McLean with the ball for Penrith. Taken 30 from his own line. Tungor jumps out at dummy half. No great game though. Only 6 or 7 to the right of the ruck. Plays it a dozen inside Penrith territory to Kenny. Given on to Edwards, and Dylan Edwards just beyond halfway before being stopped. The Panthers fullback plays the ball. Kenny jumps out of dummy half. Good run, Mitch Kenny. Gains 15 metres on a little scoop before being stopped. He'll be put on the grass. The ball comes free. Loose carry. They don't get the final play away. Referee says loose carry, Mitch Kenny. And that is a let-off for the Broncos. And just a couple of mistakes creeping in for Penrith. And I think this is where Nathan Cleary is going to use his challenge. Yep.
Would have been playing it, would have played it for 5. Ruled a knock on.
Loose carry knock on, the call from referee Grant Atkins.
I didn't get a good look at it the first time, but he's got to make sure he gets this right, Mitch Kenny. There is a hand on it. There is a hand on it there.
I think it ricochets out of his grasp as he's back.
Brandon's originally locked on the ball, affecting a tackle.
Yeah. He doesn't. I don't see a raking motion, but his hand is on the ball. I just don't see him pull that ball out.
which rotates out of the tackle, then loses possession. There's no stripping action. Challenge is unsuccessful.
What do you reckon, Gibbsy? Fair enough?
Oh, fair enough, and I'll tell you what, there's 50,000 who support that decision. Penrith really had an ordinary challenge last week when they lost it early, and that one, I don't think that was very good either, because he was twisting, the play was there, he would feel like it's been raked out, but it's just in the act of making a tackle. I think that's fair enough from the referee. You talk about players being under pressure, what about Grant Atkins? He is under pressure. Liam Martin, lucky to be on the field.
So the Broncos win the scrum. There's 22 and a half minutes left. Penrith led 14-0 at half-time. It's now 14-6. With Katoni Staggs, the only try scorer in this second half. Brisbane play 2 off the scrum win. 5 inside their own half on the run there of Piakura. Played to Hunt, given to Talty. Brisbane looked a much different, better team with Ben Hunt.
Where's Walsh?
Now at 9. Yeah, where is he? Well, here's Ezra Mam, left side of the ruck, having a dance and run. And he's put down. 20 in from touch on the western side and 30 metres out. Hunt there distributes infield through Talty to Haas. Haas straightens into Smith, makes the tackle. And again, Louis up in arms saying, try and get it to Reece Walsh. He's out on the right side, last play here, Louis. Hunt passes out there to Reynolds. Ship in behind the line, looking for Staggs, but To'o catches brilliantly on the left wing for Penrith to defuse the bomb. Plays it quickly. McLean runs infield. He bounces off Hunt. He goes again, Hunt along with Hetherington to make the tackle. And the Panthers have got it 11 metres from their own line. It's been quite the inquisition the last 10 minutes from the Broncos, but Penrith holding at arm's length. 14 points to 6 of the Panthers, looking to reunite with Melbourne on the last Sunday of the competition, as was the case last year. Now Lindsay Smith's got it. He runs into the tackle of Reynolds. Smith for Penrith, 20 in from the left, 5 metres from halfway as he plays the ball to Kenny. Pass right in centre field for Cleary. Puts a high kick downfield at the end of the set. Here's Walsh Louis. He's got to catch that one, but he decides to offload. Doesn't want to run it back at them. Dean Mariner's job to do that, and he's taken midway goal line and halfway down at the southern end of the field.
Yeah, well, the Broncos, my only problem with the Broncos at the moment is when they've got good field position, they want to play to their forwards. Their front rowers aren't going to win the game. Their front rowers get them into position, but they've got to get the ball to the men who are dangerous.
Corey Jensen's back out there. He's got it as the Bronx work their way up to the 40. Jensen plays the ball here. Hunt passes open right for Reynolds inside the 40. He's going for a 40-20. To'o's there in great position though to catch it. Right on the 20. A metre in from the eastern touchline. It was probably going over if he hadn't caught it. To'o. Great positioning. Good catch. Runs infield and takes the tackle. Penrith to start this set. 30 from the goal line there defending at the northern end. Edwards receives one man to the right. But he's a bit flat-footed and easy pickings for the defence. Still 15 from halfway as he plays it. Alamotti's on the front foot. Already a try-scoring double. Give him a dozen on the game there. He's had a huge final series, Paul Alamotti. Plays it for the Panthers. Liotta has a fumble on the straightening run, but regathers. Stopped 45 metres out. Penrith into attacking territory now. They look more settled. Yo to the left through Cleary. On a Talangi who beats the tackle of Reynolds, but can't get through Ricky. Last play Panthers out on the left. 26 metres out. Passes to Cleary centre field. Cleary bombs in behind the line. Tungo's taken out. What does the referee say? Is it as called? Penalty Penrith. Tungo taken out. Yep, Bronco trying to protect that drop zone. Ran into Isaac Tongo.
Challenge.
Okay, Buck, you've got a captain's challenge from Brisbane. Live ruling of escort from Ezra, who then backs into the chaser.
So it's Ezra, ma'am. What do you reckon, Johnny Gibbs on the touchline?
Well, it looked like it, but I'm seeing a quick replay. Previously, I thought maybe Liam Martin was it who...
Look at the run here of Ezra. He's currently backing away from where the ball's going. He goes past the point, makes contact with Isaac, which is an escort, takes him off the ball. Captain's challenge is unsuccessful.
He doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, but nevertheless, that's the way it is. Isaac Tungo was going down, but Ezra Mam did back, so that means both have lost their challenges. So this could be critical. Does he know he's there? Well, they reckon he...
He had a guess. He had a guess that he was there. He got the guess right.
And the Panthers take the tap on the penalty. 10 metres out. Moses Leota with the first carry. Settles it up the middle. 7 metres out when stopped centre field. 19 minutes to go. Penrith 14-6 as Smith. He palms away from Jensen. Jensen sort of grabbed his leg in the end, and Hunt makes the tackle. Smith plays it to Kenny. Passes right for Cleary. Passes infield for Tonga. Running laterally across the 10. He's reeled in. And Tonga will have to play it. Still centre park in 10 metres from the Broncos in goal area. Kenny passes left for Cleary, gives it to Talangi. Knocked on by Garner with the pass to the left edge, taken by Haas, and the Broncos survive. Haas's tackle, 8 metres from his own line. 18 and a half minutes to go. Penrith 14, Brisbane 6. Oh, Louis, you've been out there in these games. What's it like for these players when you've got such a tussle, such an atmosphere with such high stakes?
Yeah, it's tough, but I tell you what, it gets frustrating when you start to see your teammates dropping the ball, when you know what's on the line and how close the game is. You just got to keep remembering what gets you there in the first place, complete and set, and putting fatigue into the opposition.
Oh, Shibasaki played the ball quickly. It was loose at dummy half. Walsh just got there in time. Almost got stolen. Mams now tackled just short of the 30. Brisbane have got the ball. Jensen decides to run into Yo. Gets brought down by Leota down low and Smith up top as well. That's 5 though. Brisbane and still 15 inside their own half. So Reynolds puts a torpedo downfield. To'o catches it. Left side on his 20. Runs up to the 30. Now with a little scissor step and accelerate and a step off the right. Good kick return. Panthers to start this set on their own 40. 17 and a half to go. Panthers lead 14 points to 6. It's finals footy on ABC Sport with Quentin Hull, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs. Edwards up to halfway on a solo run. Now Alamotti, not great game there for him. 5 or 6 metres to the right, side of the right. Plays at 42 from Brisbane's line. Through the hands to the left. And again, one out stop from Lindsay Smith on the left edge. He's picked up and driven back by the tackle of Adam Reynolds and Jordan Ricky. And now played 43 metres out on the back foot. Kenny passes right for Cleary onto Leota. He's dragged down. Solid tackle by Ben Hunt. Last play Penrith, 35 out centre field. They're a little disorganised, so Kenny gives it to Cleary. Cleary bombs for the attacking right side. Leapt at and caught comfortably by Karapani. He audaciously passes infield to Walsh, who slips over and takes the tackle of Cleary. Broncos ball, a dozen from the southern end. From the southern end for the Broncos, who have now got to see if they can find some more points, having at least got momentum, at least a little bit level in this game. Karapani to the 20, Mariner to the 30, as Brisbane try and hit their way upfield. Now to the right through the hands, Reynolds onto Staggs, good tackle, McLean around the ankles, and To'o up top, Staggs stop, out on the right 15 from halfway, pass back left and centre field from Smoothie, onto Haas to Mam. Tonga had a shot on him, Mam bounced away and kept going before being tackled 10 from halfway. He plays it there to Hunt, given it Walsh inside the 40, end of the set. It's a grubbing kick downfield, taken comfortably by Edwards on the 20, runs up to the 30, now runs laterally, the Penrith fullback trying to evade defenders, straightens and eventually stops 15 from halfway.
Yeah, just looking at the body language at the moment of the Penrith Panthers, they're absolutely out on their feet, so they really rely on their back five to get them out of a lot of trouble, just so they can get through their defence. The Brisbane Broncos, you just got to keep this pressure on. A couple of missed tackles will come their way soon.
To'o gets the halfway. Smith gets into attacking territory. Dare we say it, is this where playing the extra week is going to become a factor for the Panthers? Now to the right, it's Cleary. Stepping off his right, passes it on to Yo. Yo accelerates up to the 30, up to the 20. He's got no one around him. So Walsh commits to the one-on-one tackle and makes it. Yo plays it 15 metres out. Kenny sweeps it left for Cleary. Second man Talangi, pass to the left edge. McLean up to the 10, puts on the stutter step, but taken down by the defence. Great tackle out there by Staggs. Last play Penrith out in the left, 5 metres out. Back to Cleary. Grubber for the in goal. Play that by Ricky's boot. Jumped on by Cleary. 6 more Panthers. Cleary's earned a restart to the tackle count on the grubber, which took a Broncos intended touch. Now Lindsay Smith's got it. He's straightening up. Took contact. Passes to Kenny. Passes to Edwards. Boy, they look tired, the Panthers. Leota says, I better go forward. I'd better go forward. And he stopped 7 metres out. Played to Kenny, shifted left for Cleary. Dummy struns it himself, taken. Great tackle by Ricky around the legs. And Reynolds up top. Cleary plays it 2 metres out. McLean passes right. Kenny gives it on to Yo. Again a bit flat-footed. And he's taken down 6 metres out. This is not as organised as it was in the first 40 for the Panthers. Now to the left. Cleary pops it. Garner gives it on to Talangi. Has to go back right with the pass to Smith. Laterally across the 10 to a flat-footed Leota. And Leota was put down 5 metres out. Last play, Panthers. Kenny passes to the left for Cleary. Cleary tries to grab her again. It takes a play of a Bronco. Dumped on in the in-goal area by Haas. It's a goal line drop out for Brisbane. Goal line drop out for Brisbane. 14 minutes left in the game. Penrith 14, lead Brisbane 6.
Well, Penrith still look tired, and they're struggling to get players on the run, punching onto the ball and hitting into holes. But they're keeping them the pressure on the Broncos down here, making them have to make decisions in defence. And they're looking a little bit tight here as well. But we have got a Brisbane Bronco down in the backfield with cramps at the moment. That's why we've got a bit of stoppage and play. But this is suiting the Broncos for their defence, but also suiting the Panthers in attack.
And Gibbsy, crowd's just been semaphore. What an atmosphere.
Yeah, 52,491. The atmosphere is fantastic. I just want to go back a moment because there's a kick from the sideline by Walsh.
Yeah, it's a rubber along the deck. McLean's gathered it and is taken 20 metres out, Gibbsy.
I just wanted to quickly say, I think they should have taken the 2 points before. They would have gone to 16-6. I know it's 10. Accumulate points. They would have had a breather, Penrith, because they are tied, dog-tied.
To'o on a centering run. Has tackled 12 metres from the Brisbane line. A try here for the Panthers, and it might be a 6th grand final for them. Cleary to the right for Edwards. Given to Tungall. Great tackle one-on-one by Shibasaki. Puts him down. Tungall right on the right touchline, 5 metres out. Alamotti passes infield to Cleary. Through the hands of Edwards. Now to the left. Yo pops it up to Talangi. Great tackle, Reynolds. One-on-one wraps him up. 20 metres out. 12 and a half minutes to go. Penrith 20 metres from the goal line. They're attacking. Cleary passes right for Garner. Garner runs into the defence. He can't get through. Last play, Penrith out on the left, 5 from the goal line. Back to Cleary, 10 metres out. Grubbers fielded by Smoothie. Broncos have got the ball. Smoothie tackled 9 metres from the line he's defending. And even in back play, who's that there? So Piakura's trying to stretch out a cramp. This is becoming a war of attrition as well. Shibasaki up to the 20. Now great work there from Papali'i to run in and make the tackle on Karapani on the 20. Blindside left. Mam feeds it to Willison. Up to the 30 for the Bronx. Plays it there to Hunt. It's 14-6 to Penrith. 12 minutes to go. Reynolds passes to the right edge. It's 6 more. It took a Penrith touch. Taken by Staggs, who almost gets through Garner. Staggs, he had Garner hanging on and took him for a ride for 15 metres before eventually Kenny came to complete the tackle. Broncos 45 metres out, and they get the 6 again on the hold down in the ruck now. Straightened from Smoothie. Smoothie's got an offload away. Second phase here. Hunt passes left for Reynolds. 35 out. Pops it up for Mam. Beautifully tackled by Cleary. Coming in from that right side defence. Jams him to deck 30 metres out. Played to Hunt. Given to Jensen. Jensen with 10 metres down the middle third. Gets the Bronx to within 20 of the goal line. Plays the ball to Hunt. Passes left for Reynolds. Given to Willison on the inside line. Willison taken 11 metres out. 20 in from touch on the left. Panthers lead 14-6. Blindside Hunt. Pass knocked on by Cleary. Picked up by Willison. Willison scores. And this preliminary final is going to be a nail-biter. 10 and a half to go. Penrith 14, Brisbane 10, kick to come, and Xavier Willison found himself in the right spot at the right time after a Nathan Cleary bat down saved a pass to the edge, but he only tapped it to the big Broncos forward.
We'll put this down to the Broncos goal line defence first. They had to turn up when they were tired. They had to keep turning Penrith away. They finally got the ball back. They get downfield. They get a little bit of luck go their way. They get a set restart. And then they come down here. Nathan Cleary had about 4 massive tackles out on his feet. Really good work here by Ben Hunt. Great vision down the short side. Was going to play short to Shibasaki. He was going over untouched. Nathan Cleary knocks the ball down. The man on the spot, Xavier Willison, picks it up, gets a little bit better position and scores a try. It's 14-10. kick the gum with 9 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock.
Johnny Gibbs on the touchline.
And the incredible thing about this is, Louis, is that really Reece Walsh hasn't been involved that much. He hasn't touched the ball. Adam Reynolds has certainly stepped up. Ezra Mam has given them a lot more in terms of attack. He's been sharp, but that was just lucky there. It went into Willison's arm, and here's Reece Walsh.
Slight angle left. 15 metres from the northern in goal. Clock stopped with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the preliminary final. Walsh with his left boot. Oh, he misses! Hits the post near side. It's a miss from 10 metres to the left of the uprights from Reece Walsh, which keeps the margin at 4 in favour of Penrith. Oh dear, what a moment. Reece Walsh had kicked 33 from 42 for the season, and that's one that he kicked 99 times out of 100. You know what that was? That was that one other time, Louis.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. It's just what pressure does. Big games. Little bit of, something he just did a little bit tiny different in that kick preparation. And he just gets it wrong. But one thing I know about Reece Walsh, you forget about it. It doesn't really matter anyway. They're still got to score a try. Even though they had got a penalty down there, they might have been able to even the game up. But 4 points is still doable for the Broncos.
Penrith looking for a 6th straight grand final. Melbourne awaits. The Broncos had that title taken away from them in 2023 by this mob, the Panthers. There's a lot of them out there today that played in that memorable night, which was leg 3 of the current 4-peat for the Panthers. A legacy on the line, a dynasty on the line here as Ricky runs Brisbane back to the 30. 2 plays off the restart. Jordan Ricky tackled 18 from halfway. Played to Hunt. Passes left for Reynolds. Infield runs Willison. Stopped. 11 from halfway. Quick to his feet. He steps forward. Plays the ball to Hunt. Given on there through Smoothie onto Haas. Garner there to make the tackle as Haas gets to halfway. We'll play the football. Hunt passes right for Walsh. Gives it on to Staggs. Ankle tap by McLean and finished off by Toppo out in the defensive left of Penrith. Bronx 35 out. Last play. Walsh puts up a left foot bomb which is shallow. It will come down in the arms of Willison. Broncos ball. He plays on 20 metres out. Gives it on to Smoothie, who decides to kick it into the in-goal area. It gets a beautiful bounce. It spins on its end to Lungy in the in-goal area. Uses the rules to pass forward to Edwards, and Edwards gets back into the field of play. You rarely see that.
I thought for sure that ball was going dead the way that he kicked it. It just got a dirty bounce, pulled up in goal, and I don't know how he pulls that off there. Blaze to Lungy, big play.
Well, was that a forward pass in the in-goal? Anyway, here's McLean out of the 25 from his own line. 8 minutes left in the game. Penrith hanging on to a 4-point lead, and by hanging on, it's a description of the contest as well. They were 14-0 up. They played the extra game. Cleary says, get out of here. Boots it downfield with his right boot. Walsh is going to catch it. 15 from the goal line. Infield runs Karapani. He'll take the Bronx beyond the 30. He's 15 from halfway when stopped. Gives him down on the touchline.
Well, you know what's going to be interesting? If they score a try, will Adam Reynolds take the shot at goal? Because he's got a much better percentage than Reece Walsh. I know he's got the hamstring injury, but he's also kicked 21 straight goals. His record all time with South was 27, so he's been in sublime kicking form before he hurt his hamstring. But this is an amazing game.
Willison just a couple short of halfway now, right side shift. Reynolds onto Walsh, who's running it now, but Garner reads it and makes the tackle on Reece Lightning. He's 15 in from touch on the right, 45 out. Pass infield from Reynolds onto Jensen. Jensen's going to be held up by 2 Penrith tacklers 40 metres out. 6 minutes and 50 seconds left. Penrith lead by 4. Reynolds with the bomb at the end of the set. Edwards is underneath it and catches it for Penrith 5 metres from the goal line. Confident catch from Dylan Edwards, and the Panthers can set up and try and get out of their own end here. Although Toto's tired, no rain gain there. Couple of metres right of the ruck, plays it to Talangi. Give it to Edwards just beyond the 10. Goes to deck, still 13 metres from that northern in-goal area. Plays the ball. Kenny gives it on to Alamotti. Stern tackle there from Smoothie down low. And Willison up top. The Panthers at 22 from their own line. Now Schneider out there. Goes to the right. Papali'i passes to Tunga up to the 40 in his own half, but he's taken down Making about 11, his own side of halfway. Last play, Penrith. Cleary decides to kick out towards the attacking left side. Defensive right. It's caught by Mariner for Brisbane. Just inside the 30. Kick returns a dozen from halfway. 5 minutes and 48 seconds and counting. Penrith 14, Brisbane 10. Finals footy on ABC Sport with the Storm watching and waiting, seeing who they'll play next week in the grand final. Given on here to Ricky for Brisbane. Backs his way into the three-man defensive line. Make it two there. It was Smith and Papali'i, in fact. No, there was a third there as well. It was Schneider helping out. Ball played on halfway. Hunt gives it on to Haas. Runs right side. Offload is loose out the back. Jumped on by Reynolds, who's jumped on by Schneider. That was loose, but the Bronx have still got the ball. Reynolds right on halfway. Plays it to Hunt. Given left for Mam. Now on to Jensen, who decides to put it under his left wing and run into the tackle of Yo and others. That's 5. Brisbane play it here 40 metres from Penrith's line. Haas goes to Reynolds. Outside in play. Back to Smoothie. Through the hands. Give it to Haas. Haas's pass took a Penrith touch. Yep, knock on Penrith. Knock on. And Brisbane will get another set. It was a little disorganised. Haas was trying to link up out on the right. And I'm not sure who that Penrith defender was, Louis. But it's a little knock on, which will give the Broncos another go. And I think Talangi was coming in. Yep.
It was Talangi hits his hand. But I tell you what, Penrith are absolutely gone. They're out on their feet. The Broncos need to use this to their advantage. They've got to keep the ball down here. They've got to keep asking questions, keep the ball alive. A couple of offloads will really cause a lot of damage to this Penrith defence.
Centre field scrum, 25 out. Couple of passes to the left edge and Shibasaki is put down. 15 in from the west and 22 metres out. Panthers lead by 4. 4.5 minutes left in the preliminary final. Willison on a straightener for Brisbane. Taken 13 metres from the goal line, just to the left of the uprights. Passed right now for Reynolds. Given to Walsh. Walsh puts it under his arm. Beats 1, beats 2. Pops a pass to the wing. It bounces perilously. It's gunned by Mariner. And Mariner scores to equal. Equal the scores. 14 all. Kick to come from out on the right wing touchline with 4 minutes to go.
Well, does he? This is a tough kick too. 4 minutes to go. It's 14 all. A kick to come from the sideline. For a brilliant work here from Reece Walsh. He uses his speed and his strength to push through. I don't know how he gets his arms free to throw the ball over the top here to Mariner. But he does. Somehow he comes up with a genius play, gets the ball over the top, and then Mariner just sees a bit of an opportunity, just gets down low and gets over the try line. And Penrith are absolutely cooked.
And Adam Reynolds is going for the kicking tee, Gibbsy. Adam Reynolds is going for the kicking tee.
Well, that's no surprise, and really, I can't believe that he wasn't kicking earlier. So this is a big kick. As I said previously, he's kicked 21 in a row. We've still got 4 minutes and 6 seconds, but that was genius there from Reece Walsh. Right To'o came in off his wing, tried to close it down, couldn't do so. What's the problem there, Louis?
No, just seeing if he got it down, but right there, sorry to cut you off, mate.
No, you're right. He's got it down, arm in arm with the Brisbane Broncos. We know that they came from 16 points down, Penrith, to spoil the party in the 2023 grand final. They were 14 down. It's now 14 all. And Adam Reynolds, who hasn't been kicking, he's now got a shot from the touchline, the eastern touchline, to put him in front. What a moment.
Hasn't played since August the 7th. That's when he pinged his hamstring in that game against Melbourne. But he is a champion of 308 games experience. And his 25th final. 2 metres in from the right wing touchline and 26 metres out to give Brisbane the lead with 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. It's 14 all. Reynolds approaches. Reynolds strikes. Reynolds converts. The Broncos lead. The dynasty's on wood. There's 3 minutes left for the Panthers to get out of this. Brisbane 16, Penrith 14.
Crazy kick, beautiful work there by Adam Reynolds. The pressure, but they're going to go short line drop out. If the Broncos get the ball back, they've got to make sure they get it long. They don't want to give Nathan Cleary an opportunity for a 2-point field goal.
14-0 Penrith at half-time. Brisbane have won this second half 16-0. So it's 16-14. There's 3 minutes and 11 seconds left on the clock. Cleary with the short restart. It travels 18 metres. It's caught by Brisbane's try scorer Mariner. And he takes it to deck like it's a newborn child. And then takes a moment or two to get up, holding his ribs. Trainer comes in. He's going to be okay to play the football. Mariner with the catch. And takes a moment and now plays the ball. Ball back in play. Katoni Staggs takes it to within 15 metres of halfway. You play the ball to Ben Hunt. Hunt passes left and centre field. On to Smoothie. Smoothie taken 7 metres inside Broncos territory. 2 minutes 40 left. Broncos lead by 2. Jensen runs into the defence of Kenny, who makes the tackle with help from Papali'i. Hard at dummy half. Passes infield to Haas. Haas down the middle third. Gains a dozen to the Raptors of the Cauldron. Last play Brisbane. Pass to the right for Reynolds. Ship in behind the line. It finds the grass in between Edwards and To'o. Edwards gathers it right on the goal line and Reynolds is there to tackle it. Penrith have got a little over 2 minutes and in this set they'll start it on their goal line as To'o's flashed up by Hunt. Can't get through. Pushed down only 5 metres out. Edwards picks up from dummy half. Bounces beyond the 10. Staggs there to wrap him up in a deep tackle.
They don't want to give away a penalty here, the Broncos. Oh, there you go. Right there on cue.
And they have.
You can't give away a penalty in that position. You've got to be squeaky clean there. You had 1 second defence to go and it was game over.
Katoni Staggs, the offender. And Cleary finds touch. Not a great gain on the kick. Only gained about 10 metres if that. They play it on their own 20. McLean with a run infield. He stopped. Still short of the 30. There's 90 seconds left. The 4-time reigning champs led 14-0, but now they're down by 2. Inside the last gasp of the game. Yo to the right through Cleary to Edwards. On to Tungor. Passes on to Alamotti over halfway. Smashed in the tackle of Mann and Karapani. Play to Edwards on the 40. Passes infield to Cleary. He passes on to Smith. Lindsay Smith goes straight. Would they think of a 2-point field goal? No, not now. Kenny goes to the left for Cleary. Passes infield to Yo. Yo on to Lindsay Smith. He passes to the right edge for Leota. Moses Leota 20 metres out when grass. 50 seconds left. Brisbane 16, Penrith 14. Last play of the set for the Panthers. They chuck it out the back for a Cleary 2-point field goal. Messy service. Cleary has to pass it to Edwards. Edwards takes the shot. It bounces short and it rolls down. And there's just enough time on the time clock to beat the game clock. And the Cauldron hasn't seen a local hero bring down a reigning champ. Not since Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao has this joint seen a comeback like this.
Well, Hugh, it's amazing scenes, but there's still 32 seconds on the clock. I have seen some crazy things in rugby league. They've got to be smart here. Just a couple of simple plays straight up the middle, nice and slow, and they're going to the grand final.
30 seconds left. The Broncos have got the ball. Hunt takes the tap. It's taken the ground. Papali'i makes the tackle on Karapani. 20 seconds to go. Willison, he's taken down. There's still 16 seconds left, but they're celebrating in the stands at Lang Park. Hunt out of dummy half. Ben Hunt's going to get back to a grand final in a Broncos jersey. He's tackled a dozen from halfway. The timepiece counts down. The Penrith dynasty's been broken by the Broncos, who are heading to the grand final to play the Storm. From 14-0 down at half-time, the Broncos dethrone the Panthers. And they'll now fight for the title against the Storm. Brisbane 16, Penrith 14. And Lang Park is losing its collective brain.
Amazing scenes, absolutely amazing scenes, and they should enjoy it. to come back from where they were. Penrith dominating. They slowly started to get a little bit of momentum in that second half. They were the next team to score, and they got a lot of belief out of it. As Maguire's first year back here gets them to a grand final. That's a massive play by him. Ben Hunt back in the Broncos jersey. It is amazing scenes. Reece Bold going nuts. How good is it?
I could feel the box actually shaking, Louis. It's literally reverberating here at the top of the Western Stands. Panthers 14-0 at half-time. Alamotti scored twice. Cleary converted both and kicked a penalty goal. But in the second half, tries to Staggs, Willison and Mariner. Walsh kicked one of the two conversion. He missed one from just to the left. And then old Adam Reynolds, the man who missed the kick for Souths in that grand final against Penrith here. Well, it was the other side of the ground, same end, but he kicked the conversion. That's the 2-point difference in the end. And it's Brisbane versus Melbourne for all the chocolates in 2025. What an unbelievable Sunday of rugby league. Stay close. Let's get down to Gibbsy.
Katoni Staggs and Katoni. What about this? They're gone nuts.
Oh, I'm speechless, mate. Oh my gosh. Oof. We've worked hard for this, mate. And, a lot of people who was riding us off at the start of the year, and the brotherhood we got and the bond we created, it's unbreakable, mate. And as you can see today, we were fucking fighting to the end.
Yeah, and you scored that try, the first one, Adam Reynolds, and it just kick-started everything. The attitude, the enthusiasm was so much different in the second half. What was said at half-time?
We just had to, we were giving them a way out, and we just had to put pressure on them down in their end and spend time down there, and we knew good things were going to come.
They're finally 14-0 down. I know we're not joined the celebration, but 14-0 down. You win 16-14. Amazing stuff. I mean, I don't know what to talk about. Revenge, as Benny Teo said too. I don't want to talk about revenge, but this is sweet after the grand final. I know you got one step to go, but it's so poetic.
This is why I love the game, and our fans are the best fans in the whole comp. And look, they turned out for us tonight, and we couldn't do it without these people behind us.
Well done. See you next Sunday.
Thank you.
Katoni Staggs with Johnny Gibbs. And not many fans have left. They just want to try and soak in what they've seen here. First season under Michael Maguire. Brisbane is into the grand final, and they'll play last year's runners-up. The last two runners-up meet to win the premiership next Sunday. Louis, how about that? Brisbane beaten 2 years ago by Penrith, and Melbourne, of course, last year. Gibbsy?
Well, Dean Mariner joins me. Dean, pretty special. You scored the try. Adam Reynolds has a shot at goal after Reece had missed one. It was amazing. This noise, this reaction is incredible.
Honestly, credit to our fans. We have the best fans in the game, and they really got behind us today. And we just knew that we've been building an 80-minute game, and we just knew if we come out second half and stick to our process and our game plan, we knew that we could really come on top. And just so happy with the boys' efforts. And honestly, I'm pretty lost for words.
Well, in the second half, you played them at their own game. They were the ones that were tired. They were exhausted.
Yeah, obviously it was a great game of footy, real fast game, and that's what we've been building, is staying in the full 80 minutes, and we're real confident that we're fit enough to be able to play these games. And I think it just showed there in that second half that we were willing to still work hard. And
Reece Walsh, he wasn't as involved as he has been, particularly say in that game against Canberra, but a beautiful ball. He gave you an opportunity.
Yeah, 100%. The thing with Walsh is you have to expect anything. He can honestly pull out anything out of the hat, and even that play there where I scored, I still knew there was a chance he was going to get a pass off.
Now you're going to have the tall timber next week, Xavier Coates.
What was that?
You're going to have the tall timber up against your Xavier Coates next week.
Yeah, that's next week, and that's our focus then. But for now, we're just going to celebrate tonight's win, and obviously get our bodies right for next week.
A wonderful win. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Johnny Gibbs down on the touchline with Dean Mariner, the man who scored the winning try. And as ever, the class that is Isaiah Yeo has come over to have a chat with you, Gibbsy.
Yeah, and it was Isaiah and Nathan Cleary did everything he could to get them back in the game when things went a little bit flat. It's been a fantastic ride for Penrith It's a bit of an end of an era, Isaiah. I've done this so often with you in good times, but today's not that good.
Yeah, much prefer it in the good times, but end of an era, I don't know. I'm really proud of the season we've had. Obviously, the end goal is to win a comp. We've fallen short of that this year, but Crosby showed some fight throughout the season. Really proud of the group. Disappointing to give up a 14-0 lead at half-time. We knew they were going to keep coming. We probably just started playing a bit one out, just trying to conserve the lead for a period, and then they just kept throwing punches at you, and obviously they started to get the bounce of the ball. So disappointing, but end of an era, I don't know. Still got so much class here, so much youth here. Thanks, mate. I think we've still got light at the end of the tunnel, but very disappointing tonight.
When I say that, I'm meaning more specifically, it made 5 straight grand finals and would have been 6. I mean, it's a good feeling. I mean, you've gone within a bees of doing it again, making it a grand final.
Like I touched on, really proud of the group that sort of resilience we showed at the turn of the season. We were sitting dead last. Sort of get ourselves back into this, and then, yeah, tell you what, we're every chance. It was 40 minutes away, and just, yeah, like I touched on, just play a little bit too conservative against a team that they keep throwing punches at you. It's the credit to them. They played for the full 80. They showed that in the first semi against Canberra. That'll be tough to beat next week.
I know that they're one game short, but there's certainly some symmetry in the fact that different personnel understood it. But you ended that remarkable 2023 grand final coming from 16 points down. They've given you a bit of your own here today.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll spin it that way. It's a new group for both sides, but yeah, I'm sure that they talked about that throughout the week. I'm really proud of how we prepared. There's a lot of noise coming from that side of the camp, but I thought we showed them a hell of a lot of respect. I thought the way we started the game, it sort of showed that, but reality is it's a win or lose game, and we're on the wrong side of it tonight, so very disappointing.
Isaiah, I always appreciate you giving us time. Good times, bad times, whatever. Really respect you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Dart.
Great work, Gibbsy. Isaiah Yeo there from the vanquished Penrith Panthers. Brisbane from 14-0 down at half-time have beaten the Panthers. They've ended their grip on the NRL title with a 16-14 victory, and they'll hope to take the title themselves against the Melbourne Storm. Well, yesterday at the MCG we had the 2 most recent premiers play off for the Cup. Next Sunday at Stadium Australia we'll have the 2 most recent runners-up play for the Cup. There's a bit of symmetry there, and how tasty that will be. So it's the Warriors v Burleigh in the state championship game. The Roosters v the Broncos in the NRLW, and the Storm v the Broncos in the NRL. That's your lineup for your 3 games on Grand Final Sunday next week. Oh, Louis, fans are still hanging around. So many elements to this. I won't get you winding up right into it because we want to stay close to Gibbsy. And here he is, Johnny Gibbs.
Adam Reynolds, what a comeback. What a game, Adam. This crowd, I mean, I know you played in big games, including the loss to the same side back in 2021, but this was just remarkable.
Yeah, it is. It's such a special ground, this one. Our fans are amazing, and look, grateful to have another opportunity in a prelim and against a great team. You know, they've been the best in the competition for the last 5 or 6 years now, and we knew it wasn't going to be easy. We knew we had to stick to the game plan. We had to keep throwing shape at them, and once we'd done that, we knew we were good enough to get the job done.
And obviously, there's been some big losses in recent times, and you boys have been out. Ezra and yourself come back. Ben Hunt went to dummy half. Of course, Corey goes off the field, and that was a spark that you and Ezra and Ben back into dummy half. And there was lots of talk about that because they had been on a bit of a roll since.
Yeah, well, people can say what they want to say. We got the belief in this team, which every way we go, we're capable of getting the job done. There's so much talent. And look, a credit to Penrith, they weren't going to be easy to break down. They've been a hell of a team defensively for 6 years now. You know, their systems are very strong. They frustrate teams with their defence. And, you know, that first half, they probably did that to us. And we just got into half-time, spoke about the belief, and just keep them composed going out there and, you know, executing our plays down on the try line.
Well, it was different. I mean, you came up with that great kick for Katoni, and you also, I think what started, you started to ask him a few questions, not one out stuff, even your little kick and chase. You created some doubt, which hadn't been there in the first half.
Yeah, well, they're such a clinical team. You need to throw something different that they haven't seen. And for us, it was about doing something different that they've seen. You can game plan all you want against this mob. They seem to find a way, but look, the belief in our team to stick in there and turn them away time after time. They had so much ball down in our try line, and take the attack away tonight. I thought our defence was excellent.
Finally, Adam, take us through the thought process of you taking the last shot. I mean, before you hurt your hamstring, you were in great form here. You kicked 22 straight. I mean, you'd been in great form. Reece misses one. It's time for you to step up. It was made for that.
Yeah, well, he's been in great form as well. So confidence is there with him. He's obviously a great kicker of the ball, and I was a little bit tight at times there through that first and second half. So gave him the opportunity, and his legs got a bit tight, but I knew if I got an opportunity that I wasn't going to miss. I've been working extremely hard in the background, hours on hours, and it was great to obviously put that one over through the sticks.
Now, I did say finally, but gosh, Ben Hunt, he gets another opportunity to win a grand final. We know what happened to him against the Cowboys. I mean, I know how much empathy you have, but for him to come back and you boys with so much experience combine and get another crack, and you'll be up obviously against Munster and Jerome. That's another job, but that's a great thing for Ben.
Yeah, it is, and that's the big reason why he came back to the club. He's got the belief in this team that we can win another premiership. The belief's there amongst the whole team. We've worked extremely hard from the day we walked in the doors under Madge, and he's instilling this belief in the group that's second to none. We're certainly chasing greatness, and a bit overwhelmed at the moment, obviously, with what's going on tonight, but excited for what's to come. It's another great opportunity for us. Another game down in Sydney to get the job done.
Always appreciate your time on ABC Sport. Been watching you do this for a long time. See you next Sunday.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Adam Reynolds, he's into a fourth grand final. A winner for Souths in 2014, beaten in 2021 here, beaten for the Bronx in 2023. And, that moment, the clutch kick from out on the right. And, apologies for the little slip, of course. Geelong won the premiership 2 years ago. So that was sort of Brisbane back-to-back, and Geelong, who'd won it 2 years ago, Collingwood in between, but you get my drift. Recent premiers played yesterday, and the recent runners-up are playing next week. Back to you, Gibbsy.
Benny Hunt joins me. It was Benny Hunt, of course, who kicked the field goal against Canberra. We know how that was, and there's a real state of origin feel here, a real Queensland feel. Pat Carrigan will be back next week. It's going to be great days. I mean, you've got to be thinking, Ben, I get another chance. You're going up towards 400 games. I get another chance. That's got to have crossed your mind.
Yeah, it definitely has, mate. We got to the back end of this year and you knew we were into the finals. It runs through your mind every day just to get one more chance. And, we're there now, but, we've got a big challenge ahead of us still. Melbourne are an extremely good side. They've got a lot of experience. Guys that have been to grand finals before, so we need to be, I think we need to attack better than we did today.
Yeah, well, the first half was a little bit, I suppose, it was a little bit stereotyped in that they knew exactly what was going on. You know how clinical they are. You change things up dramatically in the second half. It was just a different attitude the second half.
Yeah, we probably just played our footy more in the second half. I probably felt like the first half we're just feeling our way into the game a bit. We weren't shifting the ball enough, and second half we just got our footy on, and the tries weren't pretty, but we ended up coming up with a couple.
Well, I know you weren't there, but some of these boys who witnessed, or not witnessed, but were involved in that amazing comeback in the 2023 grand final, you've had your issues, but that's quite sweet for them as well.
Yeah, it is, mate. We talked the last few weeks, a lot of the boys, who do you want to play in the prelim, and they all wanted to play Panthers, and it's a real credit to the boys to come back from that grand final, obviously missing the finals last year, and being down 14-0 tonight, defending our goal line there for huge periods of time, just to really stand strong and get it done.
I'll tell you something about that. When they've been 12 plus up Penrith since 2020 when they started making grand finals, they'd won 98 games and lost none. So that was a momentous comeback.
It is, mate. I guess history's made to be broken, but I never realised that stat. I definitely knew they were hard to beat when they're leading at half time, but like I said, it's a credit to our boys, mate. They dug in.
Good on you, Benny. Well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
Ben Hunt, the prodigal son. You can never change what happened in 2015, but boy, oh boy, he's done so many good things since then. But it's a ghost which will never leave him, no matter what he does next week. But boy, I'm pretty sure you can hear it in his voice. He's delighted to get back to grand final day in a Broncos jumper. Gibbsy.
Reece Walsh was the man who gave the ball on the outside to Dean Mariner. Reece, what a crowd, what a game. You're in the grand final.
Oh, mate, feels surreal, mate, to be honest.
Took us 77 minutes to crack them. They're such a quality team. You know, they've been the pinnacle of, you know, rugby league in the bloody world for the last 5 years. So, geez, what a moment.
Well, it's incredible, man. We don't want to be picking on anything. It's not about goalking, but incredible when you miss. You know how good Adam is. You missed that one. I know. I saw the head go down in the hands. Dean scores in the corner. Did you know Adam was going to take it?
No, I told him to take it, mate. You know, that's his moment. He's bloody born for that, the little leg. So, yeah, I love him so much. Can't get too, you know, far ahead of ourselves. Got to enjoy this, but you know, we've got the job to do next week.
Did you find it hard to get into the game? Great pass you gave to Dean Mariner, but you didn't have as many opportunities, say, as you had against Canberra.
Mate, they're a quality team. You know, they're, like I said, they've been the best for the last 5 years. One thing that we're building at this club is trying to play that 80-minute, and you only got to win by 1 point, and we got to look, and you know, we got the job done.
Well, they did what to you, and you were playing in that grand final in 2023. You've knocked them out of the prelims and give yourselves a chance, another chance. I mean, it's pretty amazing. The whole thing is surreal.
Mate, it's been such a crazy year for both teams. You know, these fellas were last, and they, you know, get a chance to get in the grand final, and we knew we had to turn up the right attitude tonight, and I feel like we did that.
Reece, well done. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
Well, there you go. I reckon Adam might have been able to pull rank, even if Reece said, you take it, mate. Great work, Gibbsy. 16-14. And after all the aftermath of that, Quentin Hull and Luke Lewis here with you, Finals Footy on ABC Sport. Louis, the question has to be answered. What happened for the Panthers? What went wrong in the last 40 minutes, blowing a 14-0 half-time lead in a preliminary final?
Well, they were playing so well in the first half, but again, I feel like they come out, started a bit slow, and then a little bit of confidence kicks back into that Broncos side, and that probably that week off definitely helped. And I felt like Penrith looked shot with about 15 on the clock. You could see their body language. They were absolutely cooked, and it was just a matter of Brisbane keeping the ball at the right side of the field, and also the Brisbane's goal line defence was brilliant. They just kept turning them away. Penrith just, and you could see in their minds, oh, how are we going to do this? How are we going to hold them out? And then, I just felt like that energy from all the momentum that the Broncos had just kept, you know, getting them on the front foot, getting them forward. And then the class of Reece Walsh to throw that pass to Dean Mariner, brilliant. But again, on with what Benny Hunt said. They didn't play their own football. They played Penrith-type style of football in the first 40. It played right into their hands. As soon as they started to do a couple of shifts out of their own end and throw a couple of offloads or quick play the balls, they looked like the Brisbane Broncos. That's how they've got to play next week. They've got to play football next week. If they try and go bash it one out through the middle of the field, they'll fall into Melbourne's hands. So it makes for a really good game next week. Penrith just not there. Broncos too good, and they've been amazing at the back end of this season. They've come right at the right time, and I'm so happy for Madge Maguire as well to take on this opportunity, come up here in his first year and get into grand final. Amazing.
Even the greatest professional rugby league team we have ever seen runs out of gas when you give them a head start. And it's not just about today, but you know, they spent a month at the foot of the ladder in the early phase of the season, Penrith. They've been chasing all year, the Panthers, and had to play the one extra week. And again, there's the even Penrith have struggled to do it from outside the top four in the modern system.
Well, that's exactly what I was just about to say. Just go, look, the two teams have got the week off. They get through to the grand final once again. So it is a huge plus. It goes to show you how important it is. You know, Penrith have had the weeks off. They have gone around once. They had to go the long way, but they did finish in the top four. But you just can't do it. You look at that, the speed of that game in that second 40 was phenomenal. And the amount of ball in play in that second 40, absolutely mind-blowing. So, you know, both of those sides would have been absolutely wrecked.
So just to go through it again, state championship game after earlier today in the New South Wales Cup, the Warriors beat the Dragons 30-12. So the Warriors will play Burleigh in game one next Sunday. NRLW grand final is the Roosters v Brisbane. Roosters by a point over Cronulla last night in Gosford. Today Brisbane far too good for the Knights, 30-6. And then Melbourne to play Brisbane for the NRL title. And the last time that these two teams met in a grand final was the last time that Brisbane won the grand final back in 2006. So Broncos fans will be hoping for history repeating. Of course, Melbourne's most recent premiership was when they beat Penrith in the year of 2020 by 20 points to 16. So it's been quite the drought for the Broncos. The Storm continue to get there, but gee, what a game we'll have next week. Plenty of texts coming in. Thank you for all of them. Listening in Da Nang in Vietnam. Scruffy in Queensland says, can the footy coverage please go through until 10 o'clock tonight? I'm glad you're having fun, Scruffy. There's a couple of texts coming in saying that there'll be a few neutrals not all that interested because not a lot of love for the Storm and the Bronx in some other parts, and it takes away the storyline of the dynasty of Penrith rolling on. But there's all that immediate reaction. I mean, you think of the legacy of Craig Bellamy and just the outright size of the Broncos, and Michael Maguire, the man who broke the drought for Souths, the man who won Origin for New South Wales, the man that won a Pacific Championship titles for New Zealand. The guy turns up and clubs just do things that they haven't done for ages.
Yeah, it's quite mind-blowing. He's had a really good run, hasn't he, Madge Maguire? And I feel like he's really found himself in the way that he wanted to coach, and he learned a lot at the West Tigers as well. So he's definitely changed, and he's got all these players on the same page. But it's even funny. You got the New South Wales Cup, the Championship Cup. No Sydney team in there as well. You got the Warriors, and you got obviously
and Burleigh. So the Roosters NRL W team's the only Sydney team on grand final.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy when you think about it.
I don't think it'll stop 80,000 plus.
Oh, no. The tickets are already sold. Everyone's going to rock up. It's going to be an awesome afternoon.
Maybe Teddy swims. He'll have a lozenge and a gargle and he'll be right. That's probably one of the other stories outside of the football. The headline act, if you missed that story earlier today, he's had to cancel a few gigs this weekend. He's been, I think, in Honolulu, in Hawaii, and he's got a gassed out voice. So there's a fitness watch throughout the week for the pre-game entertainment.
Maybe Snoop Dogg might stay in Sydney for a couple of weeks just in case.
I think it's that time that we finally just take a moment. Are you ready for the Connor Watson wow moment of the weekend? Ready for it, Gibbsy? Here we go. Play the sting.
Wow. Oh, that was crazy.
Where do you want to go with that one?
Wow, well, it is crazy, but I'm going to say the Reece Walsh pass over there and finished off with Adam Reynolds' kick from the sideline.
Gibbsy, you got a wow for us?
Yeah, my wow is Adam Reynolds' conversion. When he hadn't kicked, he has been out of the game for 7 weeks, dodgy hamstring. You heard what he had to say to me, and the fact that Reece Walsh had missed a relatively easy one that could have made a huge difference, and Adam Reynolds stepped up and just put it straight over the back dot. And you didn't have to wait for it to get over. The 52,000 here told you exactly what was happening.
Yeah, indeed, Gibbsy. I'm going to do a Gibbsy here because I had Jerome Hughes with a broken arm busting through and scoring a try on Friday night as my wow moment. But now, just that last 40 minutes in its entirety, the atmosphere of this place. I've caught a lot of big games here, Louis. I've never felt the commentary box physically shaking. So my wow moment is at the end of that game, there were so many Broncos fans dancing in the stands, you could literally feel the Western stand shaking. We use it as a figurative term in sport. And even Aussie Bob, who's been here so many times as well, our trusty man on the faders, we never felt that before, have we, Aussie? The box, did you feel it, Louis?
I did. Yeah. At first when I was talking, no, but when I stopped talking, you could feel it starting to shake. So it was quite crazy. That atmosphere was phenomenal. It was an Origin, every day of the week type feel.
I mean, we got to do it, even though we're just trying to settle on what's happened today. But we'll go back to the start of the program. First thought on who's better placed next Sunday, Storm or Broncos, Louis?
Well, I think it's a flip of the coin. I still don't think I've seen the best of Melbourne. The Broncos have still got a lot of class and genius in them. I'm only going to go. I feel like Melbourne just because of the 48-hour extra recovery time. But I'd like to see Brisbane win it because it's been so long. 2006, their last one.
Yeah. Gibbsy, I know you're still sort of nattering down there, but I'll give you a chance to give us just an early thought on what's at the top of your mind right now about next Sunday's matchup.
Well, I think Melbourne would have loved the fact that Brisbane had gone at it with Penrith, and they were probably hoping for extra time, golden point, whatever. They would like it to go on to midnight tonight, but still it was a brutal game. But they do get Patrick Carrigan back. They've got the confidence that Ezra Mam and Adam Reynolds are back. Ben Hunt gets a chance of redemption. There's so many postscripts to this story, and Melbourne in recent times, so they've had the better. They've had the better of Melbourne's had the better of Brisbane in recent times. But I think Brisbane are going to free throw at the stumps. From what happened in 2023, it's all there. Next week is going to be fantastic. I can understand people being a little bit sad that there's no Penrith in terms of the historical aspect of having a chance to win 5 straight premierships. But they've done a marvellous job. I just think this is going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great game.
And I think the argument around the 48-hour difference is now not as much of a factor, because you've got the team that had the week off, earning the right to go through. I said to you, Lewis, that it's a hot day. Fatigue beats everyone in the end, and it got to the Panthers today. Obviously, the Broncos beat them as well. I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but the way that Penrith played in the last 40, they looked, particularly in the last 20 minutes, they looked tired.
Oh, they were gassed, and you got to give Broncos a huge rap, because when they got a bit of an opportunity to keep that momentum on and really put that fatigue into the Panthers outfit, they did that. And then when they had things go against them and it turned a bit, they had to defend their line. They did a great job there. And then when they took their opportunity after they got that set restart, they went down the other end. A really good read from Ben Hunt out that little short side play. I think Shibazaki would have went over untouched if Nathan Cleary didn't hit down. Then Wilson picks up and scores. The momentum was with from the Broncos from there. It was just a matter of when they were going to get across the line.
Yeah, and Tiger Tooley asks, has there ever been a grand final in Sydney between two out of New South Wales teams? Well, yes, I mentioned Brisbane beat Melbourne in 2006, and also
North Queensland Cowboys.
North Queensland played Melbourne as well in 2017. That was the most recent. 2015 was Brisbane and North Queensland, as Louis was talking about. If you have just tuned in, by the way, 16-14 the final scoreline. Quentin Hull, Luke Lewis and John Gibbs wrapping this up. Panthers led 14-0 at halftime. Broncos scoring 16 unanswered points at the back end of the game. 2 tries to the Panthers in the first half and a penalty goal. 3 tries to the Broncos. And to think that Reece Walsh had a chance to level the scores, 10 minutes to go. Not level the score, sorry, to make the margin 2. Yeah, so he missed that, but remained 14-10, and then 4 minutes from the end, a desperate right side shift, a pass which bounced before Dean Mariner got it on the right edge, and Mariner goes in to score. Whew. Well, you'll be able to race out to the airport and chill out now, Louis, before we catch up on Sunday.
Tell you what, it is hot though. I'm boiling up here. But what an amazing day. Seriously, absolutely amazing. Ever since getting up here this morning, it was a perfect day. The NRLW was an amazing game of footy as well. Even though, well, when I say amazing game, good for Brisbane. Got the Broncos through to another grand final. And then watching that was phenomenal. That game lived up to the standard I expected. I expected to be a close game. I expected to go through all the way to the end. Penrith got off to a great start, and then the fight back again from the Broncos, which I didn't know if they'd be actually able to do it against a real class Penrith side, and they got the job done. That's a massive play by the Broncos. The confidence they'll get out of that queue will be huge.
And Gibbsy and I can see you chatting down there, but I just thought what that stat you had? We got a text about that stat for Penrith when they were 12 in front.
Yeah, and that's the one that I've told Ben Hunt. It gives you an idea of how momentous that comeback was. Since 2020, when Penrith had led by 12 or more points, they had won 98 games in a row. It was 98-0, so they're going for 99. And the comeback, the 16-point comeback by Penrith in the grand final was the biggest ever. So there's so much. This game was just incredible. The crowd, you've spoken about it, and the shaking, I felt it too. It was nuts. It was daytime state of origin.
Can't wait to see you next Sunday, Gibbsy. Thank you. Standing next to our producer extraordinaire, Ralph Tucker, down there as well. Good on you, Ralph. Can't wait to catch up next weekend. To Karina Brown and to Zane Bojack, who are part of the broadcast in the NRLW earlier today. To Robert Apolloni on the faders here. The great Aussie Bob, making that hum out of the speakers, as he always has done. To Renell Moore and Ned Hall back in the studio. Thank you. So we have one game of the NRL to go. We have 3 games of grand finals Sunday. Can't wait to bring it to you from noon Daylight time, 11 o'clock Queensland time. Remember, daylight saving ticks over next weekend. State championship game into the NRLW final, and then the NRL will be played between the Storm and the Broncos.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2025 NRL Final Series.
Ball played to Kenny. Goes to the blindside right. Quick hands. Edwards, Tungle. Lightning hands to Alamotti. Brilliant finish in the right corner. Diving for the one-handed right-hand plant next to the corner post. What a final series he's had so far, Paul Alamotti. And Penrith score first after 11 minutes. Now to Cleary, to Yo in the centre of the park. Puts it under his left wing. Runs into the tackle of Willison and also Hetherington. Plays it 9 metres out. Kenny to the right for the Panthers. Give it to Cleary. Going to Edwards. Tap on from Tongo onto Alamotti. Alamotti beats one, leaps a second, and scores a second try.
That's horrible.
Xavier Willison with a very loose cannonball attack of the legs. Third man into a tackle. That's a penalty, Penrith, and on report.
Yeah, that's a horrible look. They'll take the silly too.
5 metres out. Crowd again want ruck interference. Not this time from the referee. Willison charges to the post. Tackle 3 metres out. Bronx yet to get on the board in this preliminary final. Hunt dummies left. Passes right to Reynolds. Cover to the end goal area. Picked up by Catroni Staggs. Brisbane on the board. Panthers lead 14-6. Blindside Hunt. Pass knocked on by Cleary. Picked up by Willison. Willison scores. And this preliminary final is going to be a nail biter. 10 and a half to go. Penrith 14. Brisbane 10. Kick to come. Walsh with his left boot. Oh, he misses. Hits the post near side. It's a miss from 10 metres to the left of the uprights from Reece Walsh. Pass right now for Reynolds. Given to Walsh. Walsh puts it under his arm. Beats one, beats two. Pops a pass to the wing. It bounces perilously. It's gunned by Mariner. And Mariner scores to equal. Equal the scores. 14 all. Kick to come from out on the right wing touchline with 4 minutes to go. It's 14 all. Reynolds approaches. Reynolds strikes. Reynolds converts. The Broncos lead. 50 seconds left. Brisbane 16, Penrith 14. Last play of the set for the Panthers. They chuck it out the back for a Cleary 2-point field goal. Messy service. Cleary has to pass it to Edwards. Edwards takes the shot. It bounces short and it rolls dead. And there's just enough time on the time clock to beat the game clock. And the Clawman hasn't seen a local hero bring down a reigning champ. Not since Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao has this joint seen a comeback like this. Ben Hunt's going to get back to a grand final in a Broncos jersey. He's tackled a dozen from halfway. The timepiece counts down. The Penrith dynasty's been broken by the Broncos, who are heading to the grand final to play the Storm. From 14-0 down at half-time, the Broncos dethrone the Panthers. And they'll now fight for the title against the Storm. Brisbane 16, Penrith 14.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2025 NRL Final Series.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio,
And on the ABC Listen app. There's nothing like this love or this chaos.
Officer, lock him up! Mum is in complete denial and is driving me crazy.
The brand new season of Mother and Son. Stream all the episodes on ABC iView. ABC Sport, your home of rugby.
Let's get to Melbourne just to touch base with the Storm as well after Friday night. Melbourne winning their way through to yet another grand final, and we'll talk about the 48-hour advantage, all of those things. Great to have Ryan Hoffman on the line to just get a feel for the Southern Capital and the Storm readying themselves for another GF. Hoffy, great to have a chat to you again, and you've had a day or two to digest Friday night. What's at the top of your mind? How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks, Q. Look, it was a great performance by the Storm. They just proved that when you get to those situations, those prelim games, you need the big players to stand up. And the Melbourne Storm, their big four, they all stood up. And unfortunately for Cronulla, their opposite numbers couldn't do the job. So look, Ryan Pappenhausen. I said on the broadcast there was question marks because he can sometimes be a bit rusty coming back from injury, but no dramas about him. Jerome Hughes had an absolute barnstorming game. Cameron Munster was, I think, probably the best player on the paddock. And then you look at Harry Grant, he summed up right at the death and set up the try that was the nail in the coffin for Cronulla. So, look, Melbourne Storm, they've got those 2 extra days before the grand final. And it's funny, I was talking to Billy Slater and Ryan Hinchcliffe after the game, and Bill made a great point in saying that the Storm should really take advantage of these 2 days. They're going to get into their review and recovery early, so they've already got a jump on what the other teams are doing. Tomorrow, where whoever wins this afternoon's game, they're going to have to go in and start their review, do their recovery. The Melbourne Storm are all going to be recovered and reviewed, so they can get ready and really launch into grand final day, and I think that will be an advantage.
Just before Louis and Gibbsy, I think the overriding question, Louis, Hoffy, is, we saw Melbourne get to this point of the season last year, and you watched them so closely, you know them so closely. Is Storm version 2025 better or worse than Storm version 2024?
It's a tough one. They're different. The Melbourne Storm last year, they were just on fire throughout the year and really were in great form and just carried that form and just got beaten by a better team on the night. They were the best team all year, but got beaten by the better team on the night. This year's version of the Melbourne Storm, I don't think have really played to their potential besides maybe the first half of the first game against Parramatta. But they're building. And I think the record shows when the Big Four play together that they win majority of the games. I only think they've had 1 loss out of 9 games that they've played together. I actually think this Melbourne Storm team is right at the edge of the summit in terms of their potential, and because I don't think we've seen it, and I think they're just tempering themselves for a big game next week.
Offie, what is it, do you think, that they have to add to their game to hit that sort of Melbourne Storm type game that we've been looking for a long time?
Yeah, there was just a couple of defensive lapses. There was a couple of soft tries. I think it was the Billy Burns break. That was a poor decision by Jack Howarth to stay out. That let Billy Burns go through. That led to Katoa's second try, and even Katoa's first try. Jack Howarth got caught out a bit there. He hasn't played a lot of footy recently, so if he's going to get better. So there's just a couple of defensive lapses I think that Melbourne Storm have had that have just invited the opposition into the team. But not only, I suppose, defensive structure, also defensive discipline. Too many times they just gave a piggyback to Cronulla out of their own end, which just put them under pressure that they didn't need to have.
What about with Melbourne and their advantage, as you say, like the 48 hours? Who do you think will be better for them to come up against? Because I feel like if they play Penrith, the advantage is minimal. If they play against the Broncos, I think the advantage is massive. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I don't underestimate the week off. So this is Penrith's third game in a row where they're playing sudden death. So there's a big emotional and physical toll that takes. Penrith, but on the flip side to that, Penrith have just been there and done it so many times it doesn't really matter, I don't think. But for the Broncos, this is a bit new for them, but they are going to be fresh. And the psychology of it, I think Penrith are better suited just due to the fact that they've been there and done it so many times, and their confidence in themselves to know that they've come in this situation plenty of times before and done it, I don't think it's going to affect them. So I agree with you, Louis. I think Penrith are probably better suited on a shorter turnaround.
I think the most settled spines, and you can argue the toss about the relative merits, Ryan, but I think that, you know, that Storm spine is excellent, and it's a very stable spine that Penrith have, whereas Brisbane have been a little bit all over the place with, you know, for one reason or another. And
Ezra Man was suspended for the first 10 weeks, and then there have been injuries that have come at the back end of the season.
And all of those things. So there is a question mark, and this will be frenetic, this game today. But on that, who do you expect, Ryan, for the Melbourne Storm to be playing?
It's a really, really tough one, Johnsy. I think Brisbane are really going to miss Billy Walters. They're really going to miss what he brings, mostly defensively. Like, he is just that starch, whether he's defending on the edge or defending in the middle. That just makes a big difference. And I think we saw it with Canterbury, a bit of a disjointed sort of roster throughout the year, and it did affect them in the biggest game of the year for them. And it could be the same thing for Brisbane. But I don't want to underestimate what that this is like. They're going to be swinging from the rafters up there in Brisbane at Lane Park. So whether that can carry on a day game, it's going to be nice and warm. That extra week's break, if things get tough to the Panthers, that extra game could take it out of them at the death on what we saw from Cronulla on Friday night.
And it would be remiss not to mention a player that has made such a difference over the last couple of months or so. And look, his state of origin was so-so, but the emergence over the last 6 weeks of Stefano Utoikamanu has been amazing. He has been a weapon.
He's been tremendous. He's been tremendous, and I really think he could be that missing link for the Melbourne Storm. I think the difference what we've seen with Stefano is that at the Tigers he was having to play 60, 65, 70 minutes. But at the Melbourne Storm, he only needs to play about 50, 55 minutes. So they have the players in the middle, the Trentley Arrows and Josh Kings, that play long minutes. They don't want Stefano to grind out or pace himself. They want him just to go hell for leather for his first stint, have a rest, come back in for his second stint, go hell for leather. And that's what we're seeing. He is skittling blokes. I mean, his tackle breaks or tackle bust must be absolutely through the roof in the NRL, because they're just telling him, just go out and empty the tank, and that's his strength. He's a big, powerful athlete, and the first 2 Melbourne Storm tries came off the back of his runs. A quick play, the ball for the first one, and then an offload to Jerome Hughes for the second. So he's a really mobile character. We talk about how great he's been with his running, but also defensively. He's really good at filling the space. He defends at marker well. There really isn't a lapse in his game, to be quite honest.
I wonder how he would be feeling coming into this week, Utoikamanu, like coming from the Tigers, come over to Melbourne and now going into another grand final. It must be a crazy journey for him.
Well, he said when he signed with the Storm, he wanted to get back into rep football, back in Origin. He's ticked that box, and he wanted to give himself a chance to play in a grand final and hopefully win one. And he's done that. And he hasn't just been a passenger. I think it took, and Craig Bellamy stated at the start, it took him a bit of a while just to understand on what Melbourne Storm saw as important and what was important to be a Melbourne Storm player. It took a bit of time for him to understand that. But as we've been saying, like his period from Origin, I think he really understood his role and understood that, you know, that they don't need him to be the bloke that's out there the whole time. They just need him to make an impact, and he certainly is.
Ryan, always great to catch up with you, and look forward to seeing you on Sunday. You're going to be not only a part of our broadcast team, as you have been throughout the season, but you're heading up for Offsiders for ABC TV as well. So you've got a busy Sunday next week. It's fantastic that you'll be in Sydney and a big part of our coverage on many mediums for Grand Final.